Yeah, let's go. I ain't the first with the curse, with the thirst that I wanna be better, not worse, man it hurts. I'm on this earth with my words and I put them all together, insert, cause I wanna have worth. Working hella hard till they put me in the dirt. Gonna go far, man, listen to my words. Gonna be a star, man, life's like a blur. When you're working this hard, yeah, you get what you deserve. Yeah, I ain't taking a backseat, I'm passing anybody else who is rapping. I'm nasty, ain't nobody able to catch me. They gasping, they cannot compare, they can't match me. I'm at half speed, I got your girl and she laughing and dancing, hanging on my butt, she asking to crash with me, smash with me, she savage, she wants cash money, and she knows that I live lavishly. I wanna live, I'm cold inside, give all I have just to feel alive. I fight to live, I fight to strive, one day I'll have what I want. I want the whole world in the palm of my hand, I got a plan, I'm the man, now I'm teaching the game, a veteran, better than anybody else who tests me. I'm ready, looking at my hand and it's steady. I'm trending, ascending and blending, lyrical bending. Now I'm spreading and getting my name out now. Yeah, they hearing me laugh, all the crowds repping the sound. I'm hitting the ground, running, up and coming, ain't nothing. Yeah, rookie of the year, I'ma keep it 100. Cold-blooded, no budget, from nothing to something. No, I ain't bluffing, I got a full hand and a full plan. I ain't gonna stop till I'm at the top, man. Every single drop got me feeling awesome. I'm about to pop, started from the bottom, yeah. I wanna live, I'm cold inside, give all I have just to feel alive. I fight to live, I fight to strive, one day I'll have what I want in life. I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Stroke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact. Cause I'm my own worst enemy, only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every
Hello, and welcome to my Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick, and let's turn on the cameras here because I'm like running a little late on getting my medicine nice and packed in. It's going to be a jam-packed night tonight. We do have Tyson DeLacruz here with us tonight. Actually, I'm going to bring him on in a second. Just want to get this rolled up because it's important, at least for me, because it's going to be a good show. I have good vibes on it. Um, but I thought I would have had this joint rolled, which I do now, because I do everything behind the scenes when the music is playing. I'm running like last second things. I'm like, oh shit, I forgot to roll my joint. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and bring out the man, the myth, the legend, Tyson DeLacruz. Yo, what's up?
What's up, man?
How you doing, man?
I am blessed. Dude, I got to tell you, you have some of the best intro music on YouTube, period, hands down.
Yeah, thank you.
To the lyrics of the song. I actually had to Shazam it. Awesome track, man.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah. Good thing about it, it's
like a wrestler, bro. I'm about to come out with some fireworks. It was fantastic, man.
Yeah,
really
man.
In the mood, man. I love it.
That's why I like to hype it up in the beginning, get everybody in, take a little time with the music and then hype it up and then boom, just go straight at it. So yeah, man, how was your day?
It was fantastic, man. It was great. Beautiful weather out here in Vegas. Actually, right before this, got a little coffee and a delicious blueberry muffin from a French bistro that I've never been to. It was fantastic, man.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I went and I had an early dinner. I went and ate sushi at a sushi restaurant. Pretty nice. It was really good.
Man, do you get the all you can eat? I'm a sucker for the all you can eat though.
Well, this place, no, it wasn't all you can eat, but it was like it had a good variety of stuff and it was just super delicious. But we do have a couple of those restaurants out here, like all you can eat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
What's your go-to? Do you get the rolls or the nigiri?
I get the rolls.
Okay.
I get the hand rolls.
Yeah.
The nigiri is good and so forth, but I like the rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. So, what a day! What a crazy day, huh?
Yeah, it's been it's been one today, man.
Yeah, I've been noticing a lot of these shootings, hoax that have been going around. I mean, every school seems like they're having some kind of like hoax on shootings with the universities. I'm kind of scared because it's kind of like leading up to something probably really big happening at universities. I feel like they're under attack, and also churches are under attack. And we'll talk about more about that too with this trans craze going after Catholic churches and churches in general.
Oh man, yeah. Looking forward to it, man.
It's despicable, but yeah, man. So I do have some stories I pulled up.
Line them up.
Yours is not out yet, but I do have a couple of stories on this crazy church leader that had his home raided by the FBI today, and what a despicable person. I mean, a person of faith to be doing some crazy nasty things like that is despicable.
It's disgusting, man. It is absolutely gross. Yeah, I'm sure some of the folks on here maybe have seen it, maybe not, but it's gross, man. It's nasty. They were doing money laundering. They were doing, sexual exploitation, all this other stuff. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's super crazy, and we're gonna go right to it. So give me 1 second to set it up. Gotta resize it.
Labor, abuse, and punishments of no food or sleep. That is what's in the indictment of two religious leaders with ties to Tampa Bay and what led FBI raids across several states today. Investigators are calling it a multi-million-dollar conspiracy led by David Taylor. He was arrested in North Carolina while Michelle Brannon was arrested at a home in the affluent Avila neighborhood of Tampa. Fox 13's Genevieve Curtis joins us in the newsroom after spending hours combing through the indictment outlining the scheme. Genevieve, what did you find?
Yeah, well, Haley, in the 23-page indictment, it is pretty clear that David Taylor, who calls himself an apostle, and his right hand, Michelle Brannon, are accused of running a modern-day slavery ring across 4 states for 10 years, forcing people to work without pay with severe consequences if they didn't, all while funding an extravagant lifestyle.
It's very surprising to hear that type of thing was going on, again, right in your backyard. Who would have known?
Early this morning, neighbors in Tampa's affluent Avila community watched stunned as FBI agents descended on this massive mansion. It's one of the homes where a state operation, a forced labor and money laundering scheme under the guise of the Kingdom of God Global Church.
Some of you say, I don't have 100,000, but you have 20,000. You have 50,000 here, or you have 10,000.
The FBI raided the church's headquarters in Michigan and a church-owned building in Houston where 17 people were removed, some in handcuffs. A man who works next door says he noticed unusual activity, like people who appear trapped.
I think it's definitely some cult life activities because they said that there was like groups of families in there and not just like individuals.
Federal authorities say victims were trapped. They say Taylor and Brannon used unpaid workers at their 9 call centers, setting unrealistic quotas for donations. And when they failed, workers were subjected to humiliation, sleep deprivation, forced repentance, food restrictions, and physical assaults. The indictment includes text messages from Taylor referring to the Tampa group of workers not being allowed to sleep or eat until quotas were met. It also says the church claimed donations would go to build water wells in poor communities or support victims of human trafficking. Donors could not have known those forced to make those calls were themselves victims.
You really had every aspect of human trafficking. You had individuals who were, brought to a facility that they couldn't leave. They weren't being paid. They had production goals that they had to meet.
Instead, authorities say the money funded Taylor's extravagant lifestyle, including multiple mansions with pools and even a basketball court. They say the church received about $50 million in donations since 2014. All while the pair controlled nearly every aspect of the workers' lives, cutting them off from their family and forcing them to take contraceptives.
In paragraph 11, a very cryptic reference to women being required to use emergency contraceptives. And that's an indication to me that this indictment may not be complete.
The FBI also alleges victims were forced to apply for federal assistance and food stamps by claiming to be homeless and then turn that money over to Taylor and Brannon.
I hope it's not true, but if it is, he deserves everything he's going to get.
Now, from what we have learned today from federal authorities, it is still unclear how many victims there could be in this case and how many people may have been found in the home in Avila. Any victims of human trafficking would have been taken to St. Joseph's, where a federal command center was set up today. Brannon is set to be back in court in Tampa tomorrow. Reporting live in the newsroom, Genevieve Curtis, Fox 13 News.
All right, Genevieve, thank you. According to the federal grand jury indictment, the money raised by the victim.
We're gonna cut it there because I was going to talk about the money raised. This is crazy. First of all, $50 million.
$50 million. Super gross. Did you read the federal indictment?
We're gonna go through it. I think here, if I'm not, the next video that I'm going to show, I think it goes through that. So we're going to just jump right into it. Let's just jump right into it because it's mad crazy.
Did you hear what they said? They forced people to take contraceptives
here in Central Florida.
Say that one more time, Tyson.
They forced women to take emergency contraceptives.
I heard about that. And then that they wouldn't let them go to the clinics. They wouldn't let them sleep. They wouldn't even feed them. They didn't meet a quota of amount of donations per I guess night, that they wouldn't let them sleep. They had to work all night in order to get that money. That's wild, Tyson. That's you can imagine how many people were trafficked through that operation.
So many, man. Those folks were sleeping on the floor. they raised that $50 million. You know, these folks were buying cars and boats and all this other stuff.
Yes. Well, we're gonna go right to that. I guess where they break that down. So let's go ahead and got the train of truth is here. Train of truth, and let's go right to the video.
About the nationwide FBI raids, including here in Central Florida, involving leaders of a church that appeared on televisions across the world. Good evening. I'm Greg Warman.
And I'm Martha Sigalski. Federal prosecutors say the leaders of the Kingdom of God Global Church used abuse tactics under the guise of religion to rake in millions of dollars. Channel 9's Nick Pampantonis was in Ocala today as FBI agents scoured just one of the many properties owned by the church.
There's more excitement around here than we've had since the wild pig.
Joseph Hildner said 5 loud booms woke this Ocala community Wednesday morning. A dozen FBI cars descending on this $2.6 million home. They did the same in North Carolina, Tampa, and 5 other properties across the U.S., arresting this man, David Taylor, the so-called apostle of the Kingdom of God Global Church.
Always restore to us the joy of your salvation.
This video posted to the church's Facebook page the night before the raid shows the emotional nature of Taylor's preaching, but agents say a system of cruelty hid behind the tears. They accused Taylor of running call centers out of these homes, unpaid staff cut off from the outside world, told to raise an unreachable amount of money in donations, and when they failed, Taylor deprived them of sleep and food. They say since 2014, Taylor pocketed $50 million. A staff member at his Ocala house after the raid refusing to comment.
From bumper to bumper, just a black Suburban with opaque windows that you cannot see in or out of. And they were coming and going a lot.
They'll come to his ministry lured through promises of a free housing, free meals.
Pete Evans and Barry Bowen investigate religious fraud for the Trinity Foundation and interviewed some of Taylor's staff. They pointed to his far-flung properties and constantly to get his viewers to call his church, like you see here, as red flags. They say it's a well-worn playbook.
They would believe he's closer to God than they are, and he feeds on people's ignorance.
Nick is joining us live here in the studio. Nick, they also arrested the church's executive director. How much time are each of them facing?
One of them faces 8 counts. That's the executive director. One faces 10 counts. It's 20 years per count and a lot in fines, including all the properties can be taken from them. We're going to show you the scale of this operation here. They had staff members working in 4 different states, 2 sites here in Florida. The sermons aired on the Word Network, which is one of the largest religious channels aimed at Black churchgoers. And just if you're interested, the money was spent on cars, boats, ATVs, a lot of luxury goods there.
And I'm sure
And mansions.
And mansions.
Story will continue. Nick, we know you'll be on top of it. Thanks so much.
Okay, this one was not really didn't break it down so much, but they bought cars, they bought boats. They bought like these mansions. I think it was like five properties, 5 mansions. I mean, like, dude, like, what Jesus thinks about this guy, you know? Like, that's why I say, because he's so into God and church, and sometimes those are the sneaky ones, and those are the ones that supposedly going straight to hell, because $50 million off of people that probably don't even have money to even feed themselves, but they still donate to this guy. What do you think, Tyson?
It's disgusting. It is disgusting. I don't know how much of the money went to the actual foundation itself. Probably none of it. We see this across the board with, fake church leaders and cults and things like that. And then they raise this money to fund their lavish lifestyle. You saw the mansion, and then one of their churches actually used to be a hotel, and they converted it into a church. So they bought it, they converted it into a church. This guy was driving G-Wagons, jet skis, having little side chicks.
Yeah, side chicks, and getting them pregnant, and then giving them the morning after pill.
He said, God said, I need to give you the plan B.
Yeah. God Almighty.
They said, Michigan, Florida, Texas, and Missouri.
Missouri. Okay, I understand maybe Missouri because they're very gullible, somewhat in Missouri. But Florida, I mean, and then the area where they got them, like this house is $2.6 million. The house, I did a show yesterday on it, and dude, how could you? And then you had a lineup of cars in the front with bowls on it, like they were going to give them away or something.
Yeah.
What was that about?
Yeah, it kind of reminds me. What's his name? Ilham Umar.
Uh-huh.
You know him? It kind of reminds me of that, like black pastor, wanting to, like he raised a bunch of money and he bought this school, this like Frederick Douglass school or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the school ends up getting foreclosed on because he wasn't paying the bills.
No.
And then he's on the next day on the Instagram, like, my people, you need to send me some money directly to my Cash App. You need to send me money to my Cash App because my bank is closed.
Yeah, we get a lot of these scam artists that comes like once in a generation. Like we had one like back in the days. Her name was Miss Cleo.
Oh man, call me now.
Yes, she was the psychic medium, and she was all this stuff, but she was really a fake. And
She wasn't even Jamaican, right?
Yeah, she was a fake Jamaican.
I remember
Call
that.
me now.
Call me now. Oh, the baby daddy. He's not the baby daddy.
Oh goodness gracious. She really was a mess. Man, I feel bad just for like because this story is still developing because there's still a lot like they're not saying.
Yeah.
The fact that is like the people the who are the people that are being trafficked? Are they immigrants?
Good question.
Because
go ahead.
I mean, they're the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I said the story has more legs.
This has been going on since what, 2014, something like that?
Yeah, it's been going around 2013, 2014. And
can you imagine that, man? Like, you give your life to God and you have this person in front of you that just takes advantage of that and uses psychological manipulation to say, hey, there's crooked churches all over the place, but hey, you gotta make 600 calls today and you gotta hit this donation budget, or else you know what, you're not going to get food till next Thursday. It's just wild. It's deep psychological manipulation. And then these people, they trust it, right? Because they feel like they're doing a service. They feel like they're doing a service to the church and to God. And this dude, David Taylor, and his co-conspirator, Michelle Brennan, are over here buying houses with the donation money.
That's just, oh my goodness, man. The way they took advantage of the people, and this is like people from all around the world, because they don't just call people from the United States, they call around the world and they get donations they try to sucker people in to give them money. And they did, and the fact that he was able to pull in that amount of like over 50 million, because this has to be more than 50 million
for sure.
Yeah, that's it's sickening.
Yep. And you're right. I think it's probably more than 50 million, because people often give to churches, they give land, they give houses, they give vehicles, they give, real estate, they give all this other type of stuff to the church. So there's probably a lot that's not accounted for just yet. And this just happened yesterday evening. So a lot of this stuff is kind of going to unfold here in the next couple days.
Yeah, it's really fresh. And the fact that, man, churches this week has been a bad week for churches. I reported yesterday about the bombing in Damascus on Syria, where a bomber went in, one of those vast packs and killed 25 people, and actually 80 of people are in the hospital and 30 of them are in serious condition.
That's wild.
Like, they're in critical condition. There's a chance that they'll probably die. And then of course with the trans shooter from yesterday, that was a crazy thing too. Actually, you know what? We could go to the trans stories if you want, Tyson.
Sure, man.
Because I just let you know, I got two shows back to back, talking about the shooting at the church in Minneapolis, where two young, beautiful souls, one 8 years old, one 10 years old, were murdered, cold-blooded. One of them was shot in the head, and didn't make it. And it's so sad. It's just very disturbing, but very sad. So let's go ahead and just jump right into it, and let's watch.
Welcome back, everybody. Kevin Dorn and Lindsey Brown live outside the Church of the Annunciation in South Minneapolis tonight, where earlier today, an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old were shot to death, and also 17 other people were injured. As this investigation continues, the big question is about a motive for this tragedy. And tonight, here's what we've learned about the suspect.
We continue digging for more information on this. Police have
Okay,
identified the suspect.
I gotta pause this. I gotta pause this and talk to Tyson real quick. Tyson, you remember back in the 80s when Cher did a movie with this deformed individual with this red hair looking? I forgot the name of the movie, but it was like he had some kind of disease.
The Elephant Boy.
Something like that. Like, he had a deformity that it made him like, but I don't remember. Rocky. That was the name of the movie, right? Was it Rocky?
It was. I just looked it up while you were chatting. Cher stars in a 1985 film, Mask, a biographical drama about Rocky Dennis, a teenager with a rare condition. Yeah.
And it looks like this individual. Like, yeah, like the hair and like the jawline, the longness of the face. Like, when I first saw it and I saw his picture, I was like, man, wasn't he like, this is the same person that with the Cher movie from back in the day? Like, it just drew me right to him. So, yeah, let's go ahead and continue.
3-year-old Robin Westman. They say Westman was dressed in all black and was armed with a rifle, a shotgun, and a pistol. They say Westman was not known to police and did not have an extensive criminal history. As we've reported, the shooter died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Coward.
And 5 Investigates has been all over this all day, and they have been digging into Westman's past, including some disturbing videos he recently posted online.
New tonight, investigative reporter Ryan Ray sat down with a former classmate of Robin Westman and the red flags that she says she saw years ago. Ryan joins us with that conversation.
You guys, Josefina Sanchez says she knew Robin Westman when he was a teen boy with a few friends and some odd obsessions. She says she attended grade school with Robin, who then went by Robert. Looking back, she says she now sees some red flags.
Something I knew was off, but I was a kid. How would I know, like, what to do?
In the 7th grade, Josefina Sanchez says she struck up a friendship with the boy she knew as Robert Westman. But that friendship was short-lived.
When you see something, it doesn't leave your mind. When you see something like erratic, it doesn't leave your mind. So he would put up his hand and say, like, praise Hitler.
That sort of unusual and disturbing behavior was on full display in a series of videos investigators say Westman scheduled to post on YouTube around the same time as the attack. The videos show ammo, magazines, and guns with the names of other mass shooters.
Tomorrow, I'm sorry to my family. But that's it. That's the only people I'm sorry to.
The videos also include this manifesto that investigators are now combing through, looking for clues of a motive. It's addressed to friends and family and says in part, "I'm tired of the pain this world gives out," adding that "I've wanted this for so long. I am not well. I am not right." Where do you think that's coming from?
I think it's actually spiritual battle. I don't think it's this world. It's demonic. I'm sorry, but it is. And I think we need Jesus. He needed him.
Sanchez says this video of Robin's journal, written in another language, brought back memories of Westman writing in code, so nobody could understand it.
That was kind of trigger me. I wish I could have said something sooner, but I was little. How do I know?
He's a good-looking boy.
All those YouTube videos that were posted have been taken down by law enforcement. And besides the suspected shooter speaking broadly about problems in the world and being suicidal, there's no clear indication of a motive outlined in the writings or the video clips. Kevin.
That's wild. Okay, then bring it back to me and Tyson here. Tyson, man, that's crazy, dude.
You know, it's super sad for the kids, man, the kids and the families. And you had said it right before the clip started about this person, Robert, what's his name? Robert Westman being a coward. And I 100% agree with that, because there's not going to be any accountability for him, because he shot himself.
No.
He should have done that before he decided to kill kids.
Now I have a question. Was this guy on? Oh, I say guy because he still has his fruits and berries. But was he on medication? Were he like on a hormonal medication or some kind of medications he could have been on, maybe for depression? Or I mean, they haven't released any information on that end.
Yeah, it looks like in the chat. Shout out to Steph and Rob. What's up, Steph? What's up, Rob?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Rob.
And Albie in the house. Steph had mentioned something in regards of meds. I briefly saw it in the chat. Here it is. His mother signed off when he was 17, and I think he was mentally messed up. Even his letter said he was not happy with himself. Where's this other one?
Yeah.
Yeah, and mental health in turn, and add to the other mess. He took meds.
And what I'm thinking is, right, because they're still developing, right? Because he was what, 22? That he passed away now is 22. So he's still in that phase between 17 and 22 of like he's trying to transition, but yet he has male. The male is different than females when they're going through those hormonic. It's not the same females. You guys know how you get. No, I can't talk for you guys because I'm not a female. But as a male growing up, 17 to 22, it plays with you.
Even if you're not on medicine or transitioning or whatever the situation may be, like hormones are kicking in. 14, 15, 16 years old, 17 years old. Hormones are kicking in. You're like, I like boys, I like girls, whatever, and you got all this stuff going on. You don't know what's going on. And then on top of that, add mental health situations. I don't know his family dynamic. I'm sure it probably wasn't that good. And the parenting on this particular situation was probably not that good as well. And add those, hormonal blockers and all this other stuff in there. This is what happens. Like this, you get more
Imbalance.
mentally ill.
Yeah, you get unbalanced, and it's like everything's a toss up because you're batting against your internal system, and you're trying to convert it into something that it's not, and going against the grain. And this is what happens to your brain. It goes wacky, and you start having a lot of different voices in your head, and they're not positive. They're not like helping voices. They're actually demonic voices and vendetta. Okay, so what got him to this point of exploding? This is like the top end. This is like top of the tier because he committed suicide. He offed off 2 young lives. But what got him to this point of no return?
I don't know, man.
It's wild. Yeah, it's just because you got to think. Okay, so if he's been going through this before 17 because 17 is when they try to change his name. They waited. So once he turned 18 and he's already like adult, because basically 18, which I don't believe that's true. I think you turn more into an adult when you're 25, 26, 27. That later on, not like 18. I think 18 you're still in a transition. You're still in that phase. It's like, I don't know, man. It's just disturbing, because there's a lot more youths out there that are dealing with the same problem that this individual has, and they have the weaponry also, and they're just waiting for any moment to go ahead and do this copycat and do another move. And
they say these things kind of roll in threes. There have been studies out there that show when something like this, like a mass shooting happens, it kind of encourages those other people that were on the fence for a while, and then they see this happen with this potentially maybe the same mental illness, whatever the situation is, and then they go ahead and do the same thing. Steph said on stopping depression meds can also go crazy.
Yeah.
She also mentions that she can't take birth control ever because it makes her crazy too. Or crazy, literally. That's what she said.
Mhm.
I didn't say crazy too. But she said
Listen,
crazy literally.
that's why I like Stephanie here, because it's a women's point of view. It's like, and I like the part that the media didn't help with the TDS, because there was a lot of TDS, and the fact that he put kill Donald Trump is super very disturbing. It's like the dog whistle that continues to blow, and I feel like it's spreading that they're putting that into their programs. We're all programmed, so they're putting this and trying to break into the weakest ones and get this information in, and then try to attempt to do something stupid like harm our president.
Yeah.
How many times already since Trump been like attacked, besides Butler, Pennsylvania, but you had the golf course down in Florida. And then, you have a lot of instances of threats on his life. And is this going to be a Kennedy type of tragedy? If it does happen, that would be so horrible for the country.
100%. 100%. I'm afraid that's not the situation. I know that they've amped up security in regards to that, but you're on it, man. It sucks, man, because this was all premeditated from this individual. With the whiteout on the magazines, with the whiteout on the guns, with the manifesto, all this other stuff, and then he premeditated where he was gonna be at to shoot.
I'm gonna go to my show from yesterday, and I'm gonna try to get the still on that and just highlight it here, because I did a show yesterday talking about what was written on the damn gun, and it was very disturbing. And then they had names of other like massacres, other like Columbine, and it had Sandy Hook. It had like all these different like events and different names of people that committed these events. Like that's scary, man. That's just scary.
It's sad,
Yeah.
man. You know, because these kids, they're going to a safe sanctuary place, you know, to pray. It was it kind of gets me choked up, man, because it's super sad, man. You know, these kids had their whole life ahead, and this freaking coward does this.
It's very innocent. The innocent, you know what I mean? It's like this is like the innocent party. Like, how innocent can you get going to a church, like going to school, a Catholic school, and then going to a mass, like a service, to bless the year for them, like to bless, to pray upon, good things gonna happen to them, and then yet you have this lunatic outside shooting inside the church, and like 18 of them, like 17 of them, I think 17 or 18 of them got shot up. I know it was like 3 adults. Oh wait, actually it was 17, and 3 adults and 14 children were shot up. I know there was 9 of, I think it was like 9 of them had to go into surgery, and they're all and hopefully they make it out okay. They're going to be the lucky 17 for sure. But and I feel bad for the 2 younglings, man, 18 and 10 years old. Like, come on, man. Like, that's ridiculous. Here, I got the clips here from yesterday's show. That's from Benny Johnson, and look at those. Look at the clips. Like, I can make it big for 1 sec. Hold on.
Yeah, I see it.
Like, the Russian stuff, I don't know what it says in Russian. So if you guys know how to speak Russian or read Russian, that would be awesome. But there was more written on weapons. But this is just who carries this type of. How the hell this kid purchased this weapons? That's okay. Tyson, help me make this make sense. How the type of caliber this kid had, it was still a kid. He's 22, but mentality, feelings, he's still immature. How did he get a hold of these weapons? Like, what like I go into a gun store and says, yeah, like I want that, AK, 47, and yeah, I'll take this. This is like a little hand revolver, and yeah, I'll buy that Glock, that 9. And he had a shotgun too. Like what's going on?
It's it's sad, man. It's super duper sad.
You know where it leads my mind to, right?
What was that?
You know where my mind's going to?
What?
My mind's going right to the Tennessee shooter. Right? Because we never got that manifesto out.
Nope.
We never got any other information of what was going on with that incident there in Tennessee. So like it's just and even here in Connecticut with Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
Sandy Hook, you can't talk about it. You can't say nothing about it.
Say that quick.
Like YouTube, it's like super sensitive, but Sandy Hook? I don't live far from Sandy Hook.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And I remember the day that happened too.
It's a combination of all this stuff. The hormones, antidepressants.
Mm-hmm.
Not knowing if you're
it always leads to
I don't know when this person transitioned because I don't have enough information on that, but or
well, he still had his parts.
What was that?
He still has his parts.
Okay. So I don't know when this all kind of came about, but at the end of the day too, it also like what's up with his parents? What's up with the parents? You know, like
They don't
you
check
don't,
in his room.
yeah, like you don't know that this person has guns. You don't know like this person has a mental illness situation going on. Like that to me,
He had a diary.
poor parenting. You know, poor parenting, poor leadership in the home.
It's very poor, very poor leadership in the home. To the point that it's very disturbing. It's very disturbing. And then you got images like this. This is what bothered me yesterday. If you haven't seen my show, go watch it. Yesterday I was incognito. I was so disgraced that I hid behind a mask because it was so fucking crazy the world. Check it out. But this was, what the fuck is this? Protect trans kids, and I spoke upon that on yesterday's show. But let me see if I could put up the face of her craziness. Where is she? Let me find it, and then I'll bring it up because this was on yesterday's show.
I want to know. I want to know what the chat thinks about it too. What chat? What do you think about this?
I'm getting so heated up about it.
Yeah, like stuff like this bothers me because you know it's kids. They're innocent kids. Innocent kids. That shouldn't say protect trans kids. It should say protect kids. Period. And it shouldn't be on a gun. It shouldn't be on any of that. You know, but protect kids.
In general.
And kids, you know, this all kind of derived from the Obama administration in regards of the alphabet community, right? Everybody, you know, get the hormone blockers and all this other stuff. 12 years old, you know, transitioning. No, this is just my personal opinion on this. You guys can agree or disagree with me, but like, no, a 12-year-old does not have the ability to make a decision on, you know, to take hormone blockers. And it's the parents' responsibility to say, no, like, you are a boy, you are a girl, you know? Like, cool. You're a girl. You want to dress like a boy? Okay, cool. You know, tomboy all day. Whatever. But the transition, no.
That's, and then the part is, you see where under between protect and trans is a knife. That's a knife. Like, I'll make it nice and big so you can see it. It's a knife. This is it's disturbing. It's disturbing.
His mom allowed him to change his name and change the paperwork is out there. I don't know if he stopped hormones or depression medication. I don't know if they even know yet. And well, you know what's wild too is like on CNN I saw a clip of Jake Tapper talking about this shooter, Robert Westman. And he says he wishes to be identified as a she. On CNN. We know CNN, right? Communist News Network, right?
I can't stand that channel.
And then when I saw that clip, it reminded me of the New York shooter. You know, like, oh, the New York shooter was white. No, you clearly see the photo. The dude was black.
It's black, yeah. But this is the clip where it says "Kill Donald Trump." It says right here. It's pretty whited out because it's bright, but it says "Kill Donald Trump," R.I.P. and tear. So it's one tier, not like many tiers. Like who like how did he get the money for this? What did he use to do for work? Like did he smooch off his parents? Like what's going on here?
Let me see. I don't know if any information has come out on the parents. Let me see.
Yeah, I'm gonna check too because
Let's do something.
Something's like when something smells wrong, it smells foul.
Okay.
Yeah, something's not right.
Catholic school shooter opens up fire in Minneapolis. Let's see. Let's see what we got.
And the fact that these kids are just going back to school, you know, they're just going back to school. They just coming off of their, the 8-year-old boy. It was a boy that got killed. The 8-year-old was a boy. He was a cute little boy too. This is gonna be. Here, hold on. I'm gonna bring it up now so we can watch. Like sometimes I feel like Jesus is sleeping, and then when I die, I'm gonna go up there and smack him to wake him up, and have him smoke a joint with me, and then I'm gonna tell him everything that's going on here. I'm just gonna report on everything. I'm at that point that it's ridiculous, man. And it's like we go to sleep, we wake up, we don't learn. You know, we still make mistakes every day. And to the point where people are making decisions to take another person's life. Is like, who are you to be taking people's lives? Like, why you keep making these mistakes? Why like that energy? I feel like, and I keep saying it, I feel like that energy is projecting and bringing something towards us. And the more negative and the more crazy things get, the more things are coming our way. And it's not good.
Yeah.
But I do have this story up, so I'm going to go ahead and then let's watch it together. If I can put some sound on it, let's go.
One of the victims who was killed in the Minneapolis Catholic school church shooting. This is 8-year-old Fletcher Merkel. He was gunned down yesterday. It comes as we learn disturbing new details about the ABC's Christian Cordero has the very latest on the investigation.
Today, flowers and toys are placed outside the church at Annunciation Catholic School in Minneapolis, where police say a shooter opened fire yesterday during morning prayers, killing an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old. This mother tells us her 13-year-old son was in the church when the shooting started and ducked under a pew, using his body to shield and protect a first grader. Both survived uninjured.
Buddy's family reached out to me to just say how much they're thankful for Francis, my son's name, for protecting their young first grader. And I'm so proud of my son for doing that.
New images today show the stained glass windows police say the suspect shot through, now boarded up. The front door also boarded up, tiny pieces of glass still on the ground. The police chief tells ABC News the shooter barricaded the doors from the outside to prevent escape. And they recovered 116 rifle rounds from the scene. Police say the suspect, who they identified as 23-year-old Robin Westman, born Robert Westman, died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. They say Westman had no prior criminal record and had recently purchased the guns legally. Police say they're going through writings the suspect left behind and other evidence to find a motive.
I know we have not been successful in talking to the shooter's mother yet at this time, but there continue to be efforts made to get that done.
Investigators say the shooter was fixated on other school shooters, and the attack was fueled by hate towards almost everyone.
The shooter was obsessed with the idea of killing children. The shooter saw the attack as a way to target our most vulnerable.
Today, community leaders and gun safety groups demanding change.
We've seen what happens time and again.
Now they're going to blame the guns.
Are used. And we also know what happens when they're banned. lives are saved.
Minneapolis police
There you go, attacking the gun.
Annunciation Catholic School, and
There
they
you
plan
go,
to do
Tyson.
that at every school
Guns don't kill
citywide.
This is
people.
what's leading to.
In Minneapolis, Christiane Cordero, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
Guns
That's
don't
what's
kill
leading
people.
to
People
Tyson.
kill people. People kill people. Guns don't kill people.
That's what I told you. Yep. People kill people.
And-
Guns don't kill
Listen
people.
to this. They said that he barricaded the front door. So that means this was extra premeditated. He had to go
Yep.
there. He had to, I don't know what he barricaded the door with, but he had to go
With a
there,
plywood?
get the measurements, whatever the situation is, figure out, how to do it before he actually did it.
Well, his mom was a teacher at that school, and he used to visit that school. So the last year that she was it was
His mom
actually
should
the
have been
year
parenting
that
better.
when she whatever you want to call him wanted to transition at the age of 17, she was still working at that school. She only retired the next year in 2018. So, and that's when the full the name change was completed, was in 2018.
Sad, man.
That is so crazy. And I have one more video on this, and then we're gonna move on to something else because it's so dreadful. It's so sad. It's so wrong, and it's so scary. That's for damn sure. Let's go ahead and check this one out.
Right now at 5 o'clock, we're seeing new video of the tragic scene in Minneapolis. Children running out of a school after a shooter opened fire. 2 of them died. 18 others were injured. New details are also emerging about the person who pulled the
These
trigger.
kids are going to have
the community
detail.
also gathering to support each other during this very difficult time. We have team coverage for you tonight, and we're going to begin with Janice Fernandez in our newsroom with more.
Our love is greater than that evil. By candlelight in a gymnasium with a makeshift altar and on their knees praying before a sidewalk memorial. The people of Minneapolis look for comfort in the aftermath of Wednesday's tragic mass shooting at Annunciation Catholic Church. Incredible images continue to surface, like these from a parent showing children and staff rushing from the sanctuary minutes after the gunfire ended. That parent, a father of 2 young survivors, praising school officials.
Even a wheelchair kid. Oh my God.
He was ushering kids out.
The principal welcoming community prayers, but is urging for more.
Don't stop with your words. Let's make a difference and support this community. Never again can we let this happen.
Investigators are focusing on the deceased shooter,
Fucking
23-year-old
Tim Watts.
Robin Westman.
What we have found so far, unfortunately, is a classic pathway to violence for an active shooter or a mass shooter.
Police say they're looking into a manifesto that he posted on social media, along with hundreds of other pieces of evidence.
This is an individual that harbored a whole lot of hate towards many people.
The school has trained for active shooters in the past, and the sanctuary doors were locked during Mass Wednesday. That's when police say Westman improvised.
This coward committed this act by shooting from outside the church through the windows.
But the biggest question remains, why did this happen?
The reality is this is completely senseless and just an unthinkable tragedy.
Tension. That's what it is.
We did learn that Westman graduated from 8th grade at Annunciation in 2017. At the time, he went by Robert. Minneapolis Police Chief Brian O'Hara says Westman's mother worked at the Annunciation Parish as well.
Please, thank you. Our team coverage continues right now with Caroline Coles. She's here with more on the victims of the mass shooting. Some of them still in the hospital, Caroline.
12-year-old Sophia Forges. She's one of the little children in the hospital right now. She is
Wow.
among one of the survivors, and she remains fighting for her life in critical condition tonight. Emergency medical team saying timing was everything in saving lives, with patient conditions ranging from critical all the way to stable. First responders are stressing that every second counted, and in Sophia's case, swift action may have made all the difference.
Where's the shooter? Where's the shooter?
It happened during morning mass on the first week back to school at Annunciation
Oh my God.
Catholic School in South Minneapolis. Gunfire shattered stained glass windows.
Where are they?
In those frantic moments, children and
Oh my
teachers
goodness.
rushed out of the church door, some
Look
screaming,
at the little boy with
others
the
clutching
wheelchair.
friends or teachers.
The girl's
In a
pushing
moment
the
of
little
terror,
boy in
one
the
child
wheelchair.
shot at another, sacrificing his own safety.
It was like right beside me. I was like 2 seats away from the stained glass windows. So they were like, the shots were like right next to me. The first one, I was like, what is that? I thought it was just something. Then when I heard it again, I just ran under the pew, and then I covered my head. My friend Victor saved me though, because he laid on top of me, but he got hit.
I think there's a lot of maybe unrecognized heroes in this event, along with the children that were protecting other children, which is really amazing to hear about. I might be saying too much, but we had one kid that covered up another kid and took a shotgun blast to his back and things like that.
Officials say they could not release any of the patient's condition, but confirmed 9 patients were brought to Hennepin Healthcare. 6 are in satisfactory condition. 2 are serious. 1 child remains critical. 1 patient has been discharged. 20 ambulances responding to the scene, part of a massive emergency effort that trauma teams say may have saved lives.
Minutes and seconds matter. And our job in the pre-hospital setting is to perform life-saving interventions like stopping the bleeding or helping somebody breathe. But every minute that a trauma patient spends on scene increases their chance of not having a good outcome and possibly dying.
Doctors say the fact that the shooting happened during daytime hours with full medical staff already in place made all the difference.
It was really very, very helpful to us, as Dr. Robinson mentioned, to get that pre-notification of the types of the numbers and the types of injuries that we were going to experience. And that allowed us to mobilize the appropriate resources.
The shooter, 23-year-old Robin Westman, was heavily armed and died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Investigators are reviewing a manifesto and social media posts trying to understand the motive.
Investigators saying the shooter expressed hatred towards Mexicans, towards Black people, Christians, Jewish people. State Attorney Joe Thompson saying he pretty much, quote, hated all of us. Calvin.
Including himself. Thanks a lot there, Caroline.
Facts.
That is crazy. Hold on. That is so, dude. What was
that end part
all
right
the
there?
hate against Mexicans?
When they said it seemed like he hated everybody, including himself. And then shout out to Brian O'Hare for saying what needs to be said in regards to this person was a coward.
It's so despicable, man. It's hard to even speak upon because it's so disturbing that it's far worse than what we're thinking, because there's a lot that they're not even releasing to the public. Like it's very, very, very shocking. Damn, man. It's just my issue with this is copycats. There will be copycats. There will be others that are going to be tempted to carry out with some craziness. Not good. Not good at all. Actually, you know what? I wanted to, because this is how I do. I always jump onto things that I see, and then I want to bring it up on the show. I'm always moving here and showing a lot of things. And thank you, Tyson, for coming
man. I'm on the
tonight.
train. I'm on your train, man.
Yeah, like I like it that you're live because I miss watching you live. So
Yeah.
it's like you haven't done it in so long, and I'm like, okay, that's good. Well, then let me bring him on here. He could release some of that energy because you got a lot on your mind, and you can share whatever you want. It's an open platform for you here.
Thanks, man.
Nah, and we down the line we're gonna have a lot more people here. It's not like a lot right now because I don't have big numbers. YouTube doesn't really like me.
This is great, man. Like honestly, this is fantastic. I love doing this with you. I want to those kids that saved those other kids' lives. Like shout out to them.
The wheelchair.
Yeah.
The wheelchair one. Like that kid, there's no way he's scared as hell. I don't think he's gonna be able to push his way out.
Yeah.
Oh my God. That's so scary. And the fact that the individual was able to land on two, like they were instantly killed. So they didn't suffer. But it was instant.
Sad.
So yeah, it makes my stomach hurt. But I want to jump right onto this video here.
Yep.
And it's from Benny Johnson. So I just want to see what they have to say on this. Let's watch together.
When we asked Pete Buttigieg, who Chris just mentioned is going to be our first guest, he's coming up shortly. But when we asked him to come on our first show just a couple weeks ago, I kind of thought we'd mainly talk about politics, and we definitely will. We will talk a lot about politics. He's got a lot to say about it.
What's up, guys? It's Benny. When somebody shows you who they are, believe them. The shooter who massacred a church filled with children in Minneapolis, a transgender that straight up admitted to being demonically possessed. Look at this from the manifesto and writings of the actual shooter. You can see
that
the pigtails
with the bull
and the firearm and a mirror and a demon looking back at the shooter. This is in Russian, but the translation of the Russian writing is, "When will this end? Help me. I don't want to. Help. Kill yourself. Kill." Well, I mean, it's like literally a textbook demonic possession experience, and something that the shooter is explaining in his own hand, along with this revelation. "I'm tired of being trans. I wish I was never brainwashed." What?
Whoa.
Minneapolis school shooter Robin Westman confessed
Tyson.
that he was tired of being trans. "I wish I'd never brainwashed myself." Whoa.
Tyson.
Transgender mass shooter Robin Westman confessed that he was tired of being trans and never wish he'd never brainwashed himself in a manifesto posted online after he slaughtered 2 children and wounded dozens more at a Minneapolis church. The twisted handwritten journal shared on YouTube before the massacre, much was encrypted and homespun code of Russian, Cyrillic, scriptic, and English words. Westman groaned about his long hair and his decision to transition. "I only keep the long hair because it's pretty much my last shred of being trans. I am tired of being trans. I wish I'd never brainwashed myself," he wrote.
Oh my
There's
goodness.
the photo of the pigtails and so on. "I can't cut my hair now because it would be embarrassing defeat. And it might be concerning change of character that could get me reported. It always gets in the way. I probably will chop it off the day of the attack." Goodness. Westman 23 wrote that he regretted being trans and wished that he were just wished that he were a girl. "I regret being trans. I wish I was a girl. Okay, I cannot achieve that body technology we have today." Unhinged shooter also expressed feelings of self-loathing, along with having a magazine here that says "Kill Donald Trump" on it, and other psychotic, anti-Christian, woke ramblings, and a transgender sticker on his notepad. Okay. So the other, I think, important thing here is that, well, you're not allowed to say who the actual shooter was if you are a member of the left wing, something that Caroline Leavitt took direct action on at the White House when speaking about Jen Psaki and this post. Jen Psaki, of course, somebody who was the previous administration's spokesperson, said that the children who died don't deserve prayers.
What?
Not mentioning the shooter and the psychotic and degenerate effects of some of her policies on the American people that make us far less safe. Prayer is not freaking enough. Prayer does not end school shootings. Prayer does not make parents feel safe sending their kids to school. Prayer does not bring these kids back. Enough with thoughts and prayers.
My God.
Donald Trump spokesperson Stephen Chung here saying, "You are a disgusting human being. I hope you circle back with an apology." Nice.
Ooh.
This was also echoed by Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, who says, "Now is not the time for prayer. Now is not the time for thoughts and prayers."
And don't just say this is about thoughts and prayers right now. These kids were literally praying. It was the first week of school. They were in a church.
Yeah, F off, dude. It's exactly the time for thoughts and prayers. Like, do you understand anything about Christian theology? Do you understand anything about the fabric of religion? Like, it's not about, prayer is not about creating a utopia that doesn't exist. Prayer is not about, like, no bad things will ever happen to you. We live in a sunken world, and sunken because of people like you who don't actually defend the children. You know, there was multi-billion-dollar surplus in Minneapolis, and private schools begged for more security. And instead, they gave it to transgender activism, in fact. So if anything, the leaders of Minneapolis chose to fund the same type of maniacal evil that led to the killing of these children instead of protecting them. So it's actually your fault, dude. Dumb bastard. Makes me so angry. It's the same guy that like kneeled at George Floyd's coffin and wept. It's like Jacob Frey here kneeling at the golden coffin of George Floyd. And
Damn.
Please. I'm shocked. It's shocking to me that so many left-wing politicians attack the idea of prayer in response to a tragedy. Literally, nobody thinks prayer is a substitute for action. We pray because our hearts are broken and we believe that God is listening. Like prayer is not like some type of absolution that says like no bad thing will ever happen to you. You have to act. I wish there was an armed guard there. I wish that the Democrats in the state of Minnesota had put armed guards at these schools who could act upon the force of evil that was entering the school. It's not like prayer gets rid of all evil, and it's not like you just sit there like a monk and just pray and never do anything. It's a mix of, but like a successful life is a mix of action and of faith. We pray because our hearts are broken. We pray because we know God listens. We pray because we know God works in mysterious ways and can inspire us to further action. Why do you feel the need to attack other people for praying when kids were just killed praying? Boom. Just destroyed Jen Psaki. Of all the weird things in the left-wing culture wars the last few years, this is by far the most bizarre. How dare you pray for innocent people in the midst of a tragedy? What are you guys even talking about? Good for you. JD Vance just going in. JD Vance just absolutely ripping the guts out of Jen Psaki. Disgusting mayor of Minneapolis mocks prayer as impotent, demanding political action instead. But he's already the mayor. His political party controls the entire state. What's been proven impotent is precisely the godless political actions that he demands. That's exactly right. JD Vance nuking Jen Psaki, and then Caroline Levin getting the chance to do so from the White House press dais.
I have two questions for you. Sure. Democrats, including former White House press secretary Jen Psaki and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, attacked prayer and pushed gun control in the aftermath of yesterday's shooting. What's the White House's response to their comments?
Yes, I saw the comments of my predecessor, Ms. Psaki, and frankly, I think they're incredibly insensitive and disrespectful to the tens of millions of Americans of faith across this country who believe in the power of prayer, who believe that prayer works, and who believe that in a time of mourning like this, when beautiful young children were killed while praying in a church, it's utterly disrespectful to deride the power of prayer in this country, and it's disrespectful to the millions of Americans of faith. And I would encourage Ms. Psaki to pray for these families themselves who need it right now more than ever.
My second question for you is that there have been media outlets who have glazed.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is how you answer questions like that. It is perfectly summed up here in Jack Posovic's commentary. Prayer causes pain to demons. This is why demons order their human familiars to urge people to stop praying. It harms their masters, especially when many pray all at once and attend church. That's exactly right. Presidential hopeful Gavin Newsom didn't read the room, saying these children were literally praying as they got shot at. Again, I don't understand. It is ghoulish behavior to try and attack children for praying, to try and attract them. But, you know, we've seen this before. There's this dude who shouted, "Jesus is Lord," at a Kamala Harris rally. And this was her response. Remember this from the campaign?
Oh, you guys are at the wrong rally.
Damn. That's crazy. And hear them, listen to them. That's despicable.
No, I think you meant to go to the smaller one down the street.
Mm-hmm. How'd that work out for you? Really? How'd it work out for you? Listen to the way that JD Vance responds to the exact same thing. Someone yelling, "Jesus is Lord."
Rhetoric and anti-Christian approach to public policy. I don't think that we've, that's right, Jesus is king. And I don't think that we've seen, I don't think that we've seen anything like this in modern American politics.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is how it's done. I'm so glad these people are in charge. Yes.
That's
Continue
wild.
to pray. It's your boy Benny. Like, share, and subscribe. See you.
Yeah, keep praying because we all definitely need it because this is wild, man. It's a lot to
Sad.
process, right?
It is,
Yeah,
man.
it's
Sad.
so much, and like happening so quick, right? Because I feel like, all right, with everything, because I try to break everything down here. So like, we had that bombing in Damascus and Syria, which was a Catholic church also, and a bomber went in there and blew himself up and killed 25 others, and 80 of them and then 30 of them in critical out of those 80. And then you have this attack going on here, and then I'm pretty sure something else as big is going to happen tomorrow. And it seems like it's a daily occurrence now. It seems like they're this like I call it like the snowball effect with the Democrats, that they're just piling up, and that ball is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. It's full of shit, and it's just like, when is it gonna like stop? Because the Democrats, I feel like they're the devils for real.
Yeah.
They're very like, where's the love? Where's the heart?
And for Jen Psaki to say something like that, that's off the wall. That is off the wall for her to say something like that.
But who's making her say that? Because she's not saying that from the top of her head.
Right.
She's reading from a teleprompter.
It's wild, man. And they then they go back to this gun violence situation, and not even necessarily addressing root causes of the situation, which is, at the end of the day, it's mental illness, right? Like it's mental instability.
I mean, this guy must have been mental a lot, like, because he's reneging on his sexuality. He's turncoating pretty much, and he feels like he would be ashamed and shamed if he was to cut his hair and look more as himself as a young man. But I guess that group, that gang, that LBGTQ, LMLPQRXYZ to 1,100 power, I think they're at.
Yeah.
I mean, that's in my show. It's a funny thing that I have going on here. I've been doing it for like years and years and years, but they're at a very high power now. That group is very brainwashy.
Oh yeah, big time.
They really corrupt, and they really, like, once they get someone, they really try to like change them. Flip them.
You know what's sad is that just like what you had mentioned, you said they he regrets this situation of transitioning. I don't know if there's any studies out about people transitioning, but I am sure 10 years, 15 years down the line, with all these kids that transitioned, from 5 years ago, 4 years ago, they had their boobies cut off, they were 13 years old, all this other situation. I am sure that there is going to be some folks out there that are going to be like, dang, this was not the move for me to do this. I'm sure that there's going to be a lot of people that are going to feel the same way. Imagine a woman, because women naturally go through menopause, and men go through, midlife situation.
Yeah, they go through
and
he was still going through puberty. He was still, and it's not like he turned female. He just changed his name at 17.
Yeah,
he didn't do like any like change or anything, or cut, like get the surgery. He still has fruits and berries. So like he was very intact. So like that's why his mind was just like all over the place, and maybe something demonic did get into him. He was very close to the church. His mom worked there. I don't know how many years she worked there now, because they don't specify that in the reports, but she did retire in 2018. So, and then like when he wanted to transition was in 2017. Like, well, not really transition, to change his name from Robert to Robin. Like, I mean, maybe something did get into this, and how did he get brainwashed so much to hate someone and to put him on a magazine of a high caliber weapon?
This thing,
Yeah, I
social
think
media,
it's
internet,
yeah, I think
all of this stuff.
you're right. You're right.
All this
You're
stuff,
right.
because it's
The easy.
algorithmic. You know,
Yep.
you're all of a sudden you type in, "Oh, I want to be trans," then now
Yep.
you're getting, how to do home remedies and all this other
Yep.
stuff, and then that's all
Yep.
you're getting fed on this thing.
Yeah,
That's
that's
why
true
that's
because
why these are, the phone
Mhm.
and the internet can be a very wild and dangerous place.
Yep.
And then you're getting fed all this bullcrap propaganda, especially
Yeah.
during the previous administration, about the alphabet community and all this other stuff. And we're seeing it on Amazon Prime, Disney, all this other stuff. What do you think these kids see and ingrain in? Bro,
Remember the topless one, the one that went topless in the White House, the one that
Right.
oops, and it wasn't done by accident, so it was premeditative. But it got its 15 minutes of fame. But
Yeah.
the problem is that they claiming mental health and this and that. What was the parents noticing all this time? Because was he living with his parents? Or they don't specify that.
No, I just looked up. There hasn't been any parental information available on the intro web on the internet.
Mhm.
But there hasn't, through all the clips that you had put together, there hasn't been any mention of a father.
Yeah.
And that right there was probably the missing component to having a solid father figure in the home, to having a solid male figure in the home that wouldn't have led to all this stuff. She was probably an overworked single parent that didn't really parent her child. That's just my thought.
It's disturbing. It's just disturbing because like the weapons, right?
Oh, they did.
Because
They
he
did
had-
mention the dad. Steph says.
Yeah. Okay. They did, but I mean, it doesn't like. This is a lot of weapons. These are high caliber weapons. Like, and he bought them. They said that he bought them legally. So how does this work out in Minnesota? What is their laws when it comes to purchasing a weapon? Do you have to be properly vetted and properly like trained to use these weapons? Because like this kid bought really high caliber weapons. This is not like there's something I can't fucking shoot that. You crazy? Like the kickback alone will fucking probably kill me. Like this is wild. This is very disturbing, and the fact that there's more out there, that's even grows even more concerning.
Yep.
Because we did have 4 years.
Steph says it's Walsh's state.
No wonder.
That about sums it up there.
Yeah.
Tampon Tim.
Yeah, that's his state. That's definitely his state. And the concern of having tampons in boys' bathrooms is very concerning to me. So the fact that they pushed that so hard into the youth for those 4 years and tortured those kids, it's despicable, and it's gotten to the point that look what has happened. A wild event took place yesterday, and 2 innocent kids, maybe more. We don't know because there's some in like really bad, really critical, like they may not survive state. So prayer is very needed. It's the complete opposite of what that stupid idiot. I don't
Saki.
even want to. Yeah, I don't even want to mention her name because she's not even worth like putting into my mind. She's just a puppet. That's all she is. She's reading from a teleprompter, and who actually truly made her say that is the real question because that has to be approved. The everything that she says has to be it's a script, and it has to be approved by others that are behind the scene that are truly running the show. So why are they continuing this narrative?
Yep. I just pulled up a report from the Independent. It's fairly new. Westman is the youngest of 3 siblings. So let me rewind that back real quick. Westman was the youngest of 3 siblings who were regularly taken to church by their father, according to news reports. Officials confirmed that the shooter was a member of the church and attended the school for a brief time. His name was James. James Westman.
And he was very religious, huh? And yeah, he was okay with his son transitioning.
The dad, yes, this is what Steph says, because Steph's probably on her computer, on her iPad. She says, the dad, yes, was religious and didn't approve, I'm assuming. It's true. It's true.
In the future, Stephanie, you're gonna have. I would like for you to come on to the show.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
I welcome others, and I have a direct line to her. So, and if she ever does want to come on and speak her piece, it's good to release that energy because you don't want the energy trapped in you because it's a lot, you know. And the more the merrier. I love wonderful minds. Like great minds work great together.
That'd be a great show, man.
Hell yeah. I used to do it before. I used to have like it used to be like the Brady Bunch here.
love it.
Like Albie knows I'll be somewhere in the show, somewhere back there. But I used to have Brady Bunch like it was wild. All you gotta do is go back and watch. It's just crazy. It's a lot. But man, just to think, what is Tim Watts thinking right now? Like, oh fuck, the gig is up.
The gig for him has been up a long time ago.
like you know what when is like the cap off? When is like okay, that's it, you know? Like wave the white flag. Like because
Steph says she's down.
Oh yeah, that's what's up. When you want to do it, you just let me know. I'll let you know.
Words in her mouth. She said for sure, but she said it's hard for me not to be interrupted or scheduled. It's totally fine. This is right. You cool with that? Yeah.
Yeah.
We're adults. We gotta take care of stuff.
No. It's like I like people who speak their mind. Like I trust me. I had so many people here before. I had shows where I had literally you can go back and watch. It's on YouTube. It's always going to be there. I used to Brady Bunches. I used to have like 7, 8 people at a time, and it was like Hollywood Squares. We had a good time though. It was good. I'll be laughing because he was part of it too.
I love it.
Oh man,
I love
it. So what? So okay. So what's the outcome going to be? Because I still want to know what happened with the Tennessee shooter. I'm still stuck on that. I'm not going to let that go until I see the full like report on it and the manifesto of it, because they're not releasing it. And why? Like, what worse could it be? They released this one that says "Kill Donald Trump." Like that was quick to be released.
Super quick too.
Yeah, like world record fast, but then hold on. We've been waiting how many years on this Tennessee shooter? Come on. That's ridiculous. It's just if it has like very important information, I think the public should know. Maybe there's others out there. Maybe this is an occult. Maybe this is an occult that's out there, that it's a thing that every like it's spreading, and they're out there, and this just gives them like, damn, could I do better? You know, there was only two. Maybe I could get more than that. Like, I'd be very cautious with church. I hope they do up the security in churches, because there will be some kind of try to like copycat this, and that's not good.
Agreed. You know what, my we got armed security at the church I go to. We got security.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good,
And a
because
bunch of like police officers and individuals that work security detail.
yeah, that's really good, because like, to be honest with you, not a people like pay attention in churches, and that's what happened in Damascus. I keep going back to Damascus because that was like someone coming in and just blowing the place to smithereens, and they didn't have security. They just walked in and blew up the place, and that killed. Imagine if that was the other way around. Maybe Damascus was only 2, and then there was a travesty of 25 here. You know, then we'd be like freaking the fuck out.
Yep.
Okay, like 2, it sucks. It's bad, but 25, that's even worse. And it was a bomb explosion, so that's even like, holy shit. But since it's in Damascus, it's not gonna get that much traction compared to 2 innocent young lives passing away from an individual that is mentally ill, that didn't know what it was, because it was confused. I call it because it's not male, it's not female, it's an it. And and it's the it from like, what was the damn, Adam's Family. It's it. It's an it. It's a thing, you know? It's just doesn't. And I wonder if it stopped taking some type of medication, or was on some medication that manipulated the mind. Was this person vaccinated, like with the C word? Was this person like? There's so many questions as a reporter that could actually be asked, but they don't ask. They don't ask. They just, I don't know. They don't like, okay, when did he get the license? When did he like finally submitted paperwork for the license, and he went through everything? Because I know when you're gonna get your license, you gotta go through fingerprints. You gotta go through the police station, submit your fingerprints to the police station and so forth, and it's part of your package to be able to carry a concealed weapon.
Yeah.
You know, I had my conceals before, so I know how the whole system works. And you know, after a certain time, you have to re-up and re-qualify yourself, and it's a process. But I wonder when he did, like when he started like fascinating like about these thoughts of like watching other killers and being enticed by them and being like influenced by them. Like, I'm pretty sure there's a data like path, like a like residue, like I would say, like of data that like it's a telltale of what he was watching, what he was influenced by, what sites he was going to, like at the times he was going to, how many times he visited that site. Like, I'm pretty sure by now technology has gotten to that point where we could pull up that information instantly.
Yep.
I mean,
Steph said something about she said, did you see the ChatGPT video? What ChatGPT video are you referring to, Steph?
The one that told the kid to kill him, that killed himself. The kid killed himself.
Oh, from like a couple weeks ago, where he was like,
Because I know.
having an intimate relationship with ChatGPT, or was it the one where he was acting like the psychologist?
Oh Lord.
Because I know that there was one where
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, he was like talking to a particular AI about as a psychologist and like feeding all the information in ChatGPT, and then, or I don't know if it was ChatGPT, but some type
Let
of
me
AI.
find out.
And and it was like, yeah, I think you should do it.
I need a better keyboard.
I think you should yourself. This guy has a conversation with ChatGPT, and it explained its purpose and was demons and revealed the Antichrist. Whoa. No, I did not see that video. I did not see that video. Wow. What's going on? Wow. He retagged it in my mind. I retagged it in your Discord.
Okay, I'll check on it. I was trying to see if there's any. I'm trying to find videos. I see there's videos, but I'm trying to see if there's a recent. I know ChatGPT has been doing really crazy shit and influence people a certain way. It's pretty wild. Like I don't even have ChatGPT. I don't want it. I don't have X. I don't do Facebook. Like it's just not my thing. Like I have a Facebook page, but I haven't been on there in years. And I don't go on there. I'm always on YouTube. So it's like YouTube is
That's the thing, man. Some of these folks are giving ChatGPT all their information, everything.
Yeah.
You know, what should I do? What should I do about the situation? Bop, bop, bop. I don't know. You know, like it's good and it's bad. Where's all this information going? You know, even Google, this platform here, has openly admitted that they're using references from lives and videos to help cultivate their AI platform in Gemini. So if they're doing that with the videos that are published on the platform, what is ChatGPT? What is all these other AI platforms doing?
A lot of no good, like dirty deeds for sure. I feel the dirty deeds. It's despicable. I think I started watching this because it's a long one. It's 24 minutes long, and ChatGPT is really it's really wild. Like I could probably forward this to you, Tyson, or maybe she could send it to you, Stephanie. You could send it to Tyson, because it's religious is a very right now it's under attack. Okay.
Yeah.
There's a war. It's like a holy war. It feels. A lot of influence has come through over our borders. You gotta understand. There's I think over 30 million illegals here, and the fact that a lot of them have cell phones. A lot of them have influence and write comments in people's bios, and they're doing no good deeds, especially manipulating the system and also hurting the younglings. Okay, like assaults. It's disturbing, and the fact that we still got to do more, man. They trying to close Alligator Alley. You heard about that shit?
Yeah.
Like, are they really gonna allow that to happen?
I don't think so.
Dude, like can who could interfere into that? It has to be it has to go through the courts. No, I mean, well, they already went to the federal. The federal is already mandating for them to shut down. But like, this is a Democratic judge, so like, how are we gonna get like? How is that fair? It has to go to the Supreme Court, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, it has to go to the Supreme Court. I was just wondering because it's just weird. I don't know.
Yep.
I'm trying to see what else I have here. I mean, I have some. I don't want to watch the whole press conference because I have the Caroline Levitt, the whole today's meeting there with the reporter. Yeah, it's a long one. It's like 24 minutes.
Yeah.
But I do have a Jason A one, and then I can end the show. Because your show don't come out yet. Yours comes out. I have the time. It's like around 10:15. You release your videos.
Yeah. Yeah.
You've been having some weird times that you be releasing, but I like it because I do like if I do the morning show, I recap it in the morning. I put it part of the morning show, and then the evening show, put the evening one.
Love it. Yeah. Let's. I was gonna say let's. Well, we already talked about it. We'll probably rock this every Thursday. You know, we can get some more folks on here, like in regards to the panel and all this other stuff. We can get this rocking.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's interesting. You know, it's good. It's good talk, and I mean, there's a lot of subjects every day. There's always something. Like every day is a new day. Every day it's a new beginning. But yet we all fuck up and trip up and make mistakes and kill people. And it's like, when are we gonna learn from our mistakes? Like, don't go out there looking to kill people. How about that?
Yep.
Like,
thank you, Stephanie, for sending that. Appreciate you.
Yes, Stephanie, thank you. I appreciate it. But ChatGPT is crazy. They do influence, and it's AI, right? But then how far AI has gone, because it's going really deep, and it's a pretty deep rabbit hole. I mean, I don't know, but our ancestors back in the past, they had a computer too,
for sure,
and that civilization didn't make it. Well, it kind of made it, but not really like how it used to be. It's just far gone from that, and we're just so advanced. Like, I feel like we do have like alien technology for sure. All this is alien to us, and the internet, you're tapped into it, so they have your subconscious and they have your feelings, because easily you could be offended. Easily you could have your heart broken on the internet. Easily you could pleasure yourself. Easily you could be happy. You could cry. It has you. And a lot of people are stuck on it. They can't live they go crazy. Like, if they don't have their phone for a certain amount of time, they freak the fuck out.
Yep.
It's like, and young kids too. That's not like the older ones, because the older ones is worse. But the kids, oh my God, they have a tantrum. They will be so mad, and they if they don't have their technology.
That's why you got to limit it, man. I see kids at restaurants and stuff like that. They got the iPad with the headphones on, the connection. They're playing the game at the restaurant, and then the mom's like, "Hey," or the dad's like, "Hey, we're gonna take this." And they're like, "No, why are you taking my iPad? I don't want you to take my iPad." No. Like, you got to eat.
That's why I love the time that I grew.
The limit on technology, especially when they're younger.
Yeah, I grew up in a good decade in the 80s that we didn't have this type of technology.
No,
so
we had the Nokias, man. The Nokia pagers. Pagers, you know.
Mhm.
Hey, pagers.
Yeah. Yeah, like I remember the pagers back in the days, the beepers, and you had the codes and stuff, and you put your little
Turn it
codes.
upside down. You remember that?
Yeah.
Something. I don't remember. Like, what was it? 304 would be like ho.
Oh shit! And then the I love you is 143.
Yeah.
And then
You turn it
they have-
around, you're like, ah, man. Or it used to pay. I used to page myself and be like, I got a page.
yeah, we knew 43. 43 was F you, like fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you can take it like it was weird, the beeper area. Like the era of the beeper, I remember I had one. I had the classic. I had all types of beepers. But I had the classic, that black box, the pagers where you just get the number and that was just it.
Yeah.
And that was innovative. That was like state of the art type of thing. Like that's when I started freaking out. Like, how are they sending the signal to this little box, right? And then my mom's like telling me to call her, and I'm like, get rid of this shit. I don't want this shit, So that's where it first started. Like, and then the cell phones started popping out. I remember the first time I saw someone with a cell phone. This was crazy. I was playing basketball. I was in middle school, right? So I'm playing basketball and stuff, and then I see someone talking to themselves. I'm like, "Yo," and I asked him, I say, "Yo, you okay?" I asked him, "Is he okay?" He's like, "Oh no, I'm on the phone." I was like, "Phone?" He's like, "Yeah, it's a new thing. It's a cell phone. It's like you can talk to people, and it's like being at home." I'm like, I was blown the fuck out. I was like, wow, that was creepy. I didn't know. I was like, who's this? Yo, you okay? I asked him, you okay? I was young because it's like I saw him talking to himself, and he was like, oh, like talking. I'm like, yo, you fine?
Yeah.
And he was like, no, I'm on the phone. He showed us the phone and stuff. And we're like, yo, that's crazy.
Yep. And then the Bluetooth came out. The little earpiece with the Bluetooth.
Yeah.
The big ones.
Yeah. Yeah. Boobs. I remember boobs.
80085. Boobs.
Yeah, boobs. But yeah, I had my run-in with technology and the advancement of it, and I'm creeped out by it every single day. Things are wireless that I have like right here on my desk. Like I got to get a new keyboard, but I have a wireless keyboard here that controls my laptop that's 15 feet away, and my television that's also 15 feet away. So I'm seeing everything nice and big. I'm gonna get it bigger, but for now it's I have it there, and yeah, I'm still freaked out by cell phones every day. This thing right here freaks me the hell out because I communicate with anybody, anywhere, anytime. And at the next speed, like super quick. There's like back in the days there was like connection fees and it took a while to, and then you want to accept this collect call from look at this. Yes, I remember that.
Like
we had a yellow one.
6.
Oh, you have the green one.
Yep.
That's so cool. We had the yellow one.
The yellow one's cool too.
Yeah, it was nice. It was like at first started as lime, but then it started to look like dull yellow.
Yeah.
By the time we were done with it.
Yep.
Oh, that's funny, dude.
Yo, I gotta jump here, but I'll be on the full treatment on next Thursday.
All right.
Let's and then we'll push it out on the Discord and all this other stuff. If you're not part of My Mind's Discord, check out his Discord. I think his Discord links in the description or somewhere.
Yeah, the same. My Mind Over Your Matter. Show name.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, all right, Tyson. Thank you for showing up.
Dude, this is great. I love it. Again, I'll be with you the whole time on next Thursday. Dude, I really appreciate you having me on, man.
And you could crop it up. You could crop it up, put it on your stuff if you want. Yeah. You could throw it anywhere. I don't care. It's you too.
Cool.
So
Thank you, man.
You have a mind, and your mind matters too.
I love that. That's a shirt, man. That's a shirt.
Yep. Jot it down. It's at 1 hour 50 minutes and 30 seconds. There you go.
Coolio. I'll drop in with you here in a little bit. Again,
right.
man, thank you so much for having me on, man.
No problem, bro. Anytime.
All right, bro. I'll chat with you in a bit.
Peace. May peace be with Tyson. And this show's gonna continue because I still got a lot to show you. We got even like from the White House. I got something. It has begun. Something big is happening in 2025. We're gonna check it out. That's Jason A. I still got Holman news. I don't know if I'm gonna show the Caroline Leavitt whole press conference. That's like 20 something. Let me see, 27 minutes. I don't know if let's see how I feel towards the end because that could lead me to Tyson. I like to finish the show off with Tyson's video, so maybe I will play that for us to watch. Yeah, I think it'll be a good ending. And right now, what I'm going to do is I'm setting this up as I speak. And thank you, Tyson, for showing up. That's a great support. I mean, he don't have to do this. He's doing it out of the kindness of his heart. Look, the train is here. Amazing. And I appreciate it so much. But we're going to go straight into Tyson A. I think this is very important. I think it's something that we need to watch together. This is new. He just came out about an hour ago. So let me set this up for us and let's continue the show. And again, thank you, Tyson, for showing up. Truly appreciate it. We'll do this every Thursday. The Train of Truth. Every Thursday, the Train of Truth agrees. And maybe next time we'll have Stephanie in here because we need some female energy. I feel like I need a female's opinion, a female's voice. Like I like to have female energy here because it balances out the show to have female like feelings and opinions. And females have a mind too, and it's their mind over our matter. So that's like reading the name and using it. It's like, yeah, it is my mind over your matter. Bitch, it is my mind over everybody else's matter. And you say it to yourself, you're like, oh shit, he's right. That's fucking awesome. So hopefully next Thursday I could work something out. Maybe get Stephanie in here. We'll see. Or whoever. We'll see down the line. It has to be related to the show and a positive influence onto the show. So with that said, we're gonna go right to Jason A. If I could get the sound. Why is YouTube fucking with me tonight? I'm sorry with the French word, but I mean, it's been all night. It's been messing up my videos. Like, YouTube, stop messing with my sound. Come on.
In community and others that think it's part of the spiritual realm. I'm not doubting anybody's beliefs or anything. I'm not trying to rain on that. I'm just reporting what I've been told multiple times, and this is something I've pulled together. So I believe there's something going on.
How does this relate
get your little man to bed.
UAP
Go ahead
activities, Mr. Schellenberg,
get yourself
in oceanic environments? Are there any instances where the Navy or other maritime forces have encountered UAPs that could not be explained by known technology or natural phenomena?
Yeah, the Omega constellation covers both terrestrial and oceanic, and there's actually a number of cases described in the report that occur in the ocean.
This week, Tennessee lawmaker Tim Burchett sharing about an account from an admiral describing an underwater UFO as large as a football field moving at hundreds of miles per hour underwater.
The truth is out there, and it might be right here in the cabinets and halls of the United States Department of Defense. A bipartisan group of lawmakers is now calling on the disclosure of all classified intelligence on unidentified aerial phenomena and whether they arrived from out of this world.
They haven't been totally transparent with the information they do have. If it's not a UFO, then is it a weapons system?
If you don't give people a clear answer, and sometimes the clearest answer you can give is, I don't know, some will be suspicious of that.
You got notified by our 911 center that there was concern of a sighting in Island Beach State Park. We responded. We met an officer, a certified New Jersey officer, not from our department, from another agency. And that officer did an excellent job. She documented. That's where you're getting the reports of 50 drones coming off the ocean. That's what she reported seeing. She was on duty at the time, and she reports that she saw 50 drones coming from the ocean to the mainland, transversing the airways over Island Beach State Park, going down towards Watergate Light and coming to the seaside area. We have flight radar mapping capabilities, and we did not see anything on indicating it was a plane.
You know, in all your experience, right, what do you think, Sheriff Mastronardi, what do you think is actually happening in the skies over your community that could help kind of calm, you mentioned the word hysteria, right? And that's what happens. It's something like this is talked about so much that people believe that they're actually seeing a bunch more that they're actually seeing. But there is something going on. I saw it firsthand. So what are you telling folks, and what do you believe is actually happening?
Well, as I said, whoever it is has a lot of resources. The concern is that nobody has seen them take off or land. How's that possible? We're a very populated state. It's not like you're in the middle of nowhere. So the fact of the matter, nobody has seen them either come or land is troublesome.
There are rumors that have come up to the Hill of a secretive project within the Department of Defense involving the manipulation of human genetics with what is described as non-human genetic material, potentially for the enhancement of human capabilities, hybrids. Are any of you familiar with that? Yes or no? No.
No, ma'am. I am not, ma'am. I'm not. No, ma'am.
And do you believe that there is a concerted effort by the Pentagon to keep Congress out of the loop regarding these UAP activities, specifically in our waters?
Yes.
I think it's about 5% of our ocean that's actually been studied in detail by man, and we've studied more of space than we had of our own oceans. And so, are there any accounts of UAPs emerging from or submerging into our water, which could indicate a base or presence beneath the ocean's surface?
I don't know about a base, but as I mentioned, I had a different source entirely describe this pretty extraordinary footage that exists of orbs, of an orb coming out of the ocean and being met by another orb.
Some would say that there's multiple hotspots where we see frequent activity. So in your investigations, have you come across any data or visual evidence like sonar readings or underwater footage of these UAPs?
I have not beyond what's in the report.
You've written about UAPs not only in the air, but in underwater. Are there any specifics on what you've learned about the UAP activity in our oceans? Particularly, have you spoken with sources who have provided any evidence or eyewitness accounts of these UAPs interacting with our naval forces or being detected by our underwater surveillance systems?
Nothing beyond what's in the report, and then the specific case that I mentioned with the orbs.
And there's basically, I've been told there's 5 really deep sea areas that we know more about the surface of the moon than we know about the surface of the ocean there. And you have a lot of UFO or UAP activity there, and people are sighting these things. You're having sailors, you're having different people all across the world. And the numbers seem to be higher in these areas, and that leads you to believe is something traveling light years? Is that even possible in our realm of thought? I mean, you're talking about the light from the closest stars left there before the time of Christ when we see it at night. So, you have to think, well, maybe something is here, and has it been here long? And, and I talk to folks in the Christian community and others that think it's part of the spiritual realm. I'm not doubting anybody's beliefs or anything. I'm not trying to rain on that. I'm just reporting what I've been told multiple times, and this is something I've pulled together. So I believe there's something going on, and our government, once again, is spending tens of millions of dollars on something that they tell us does not exist.
Comet,
This is not for us to
asteroid,
know.
or something else. A Harvard astrophysicist believes there's a strong likelihood this is a craft of alien origin. Give me the best case for why you think this object may be extraterrestrial and maybe alien form.
Well, first, its brightness implies that if it represents reflection of sunlight from a solid object, it needs to be 20 kilometers in diameter. That's bigger than Manhattan Island. And this is a giant rock. The previous interstellar objects were hundreds of times smaller. So it just doesn't make sense that the third object from interstellar space will be 100 times bigger than the previous two, and we won't see anything in between. And moreover, there is not enough rocky material in interstellar space to deliver us a rock of this size, 20 kilometers, over a period of about a decade that we conducted the survey of the sky, because this material is very rare, and you expect it once per maybe 10,000 years or longer. And so it's surprising if indeed it's a rock of that size.
NASA is saying this is a comet. It poses no threat to Earth.
Can you take us back? What exactly did this admiral tell you?
Well, the last thing he told me was they're real. He said they're real. It was just me and him talking in a doorway, actually, and he described sonar readings of something, and I believe it was described as large as a football field, and the speeds were just something that we're not even close to being able to do underwater. I wasn't thousands of miles an hour. It was in the realm of a couple 100 miles an hour, but still, I think the closest thing we've got something that does close to 40 miles an hour, maybe, or 45, something like that. I don't know, maybe some of our secret apparatus, but anyway, and this is not the first time this has happened. Mm-hmm. And I've talked to others that have said the exact same thing. People that were on a ship or on a sub, that's something, they had weird pings, things that showed up, and they moved at such a speed that it was just not fathomable. And he turned to him and said, we have uncovered things that we do not understand. They're moving at speeds that we do not understand. They're at angles, stop and go. He said, I don't know if it's a wormhole. I don't know how they are doing it, but they are doing it.
You've been meeting with some lawmakers here, and you're calling on Congress to pass the bipartisan UAP Disclosure Act. If they do pass it, what will we find?
Well, what we're going to find out is that there is an element deep within the Defense Department and the operations director of the Central Intelligence Agency that has been committing perjury to Congress, lying, denying the fact that they have recovered a non-human origin extraterrestrial spacecraft and the bodies that they've now DNA tested and know to be non-human.
You're saying, because you represent some whistleblowers, you're saying that they have disclosed to you that this evidence exists, these documents exist, that these phenomena have come indeed from out of this world with actual alien species.
That they know they're non-human.
Did they describe what those species are or look like?
Actually, not yet to the public. We've gotten this information out. But the fact of the matter is that if we get this bill passed, and we're getting in the process this in the first week of September, we're hoping as soon as they come back from their summer break, that the Senate is going to pass a 64-page bill that mandates that all of the information that is 25 years old or more, that's basically anything before 2000, basically has to be immediately publicly released to the people. Okay, and anything else is going to be submitted to a 9-person panel to be appointed by the president. And that panel is not only to go through it and decide what else to release right away, but they're going to set up a 7-year program called the UAP Controlled Disclosure Campaign Plan, to release all of this information over the next 7-year period so that we can adjust our economic systems, our geopolitical structures, our domestic political structures to try to accommodate the fact that we now are aware of the fact that there's an extraterrestrial civilization surrounding us.
So this law is set up to that if we do confirm this evidence, that the American people, the world population, will learn about this in a measured fashion. Does this include some of those space or those craft that were captured by U.S. Air Force pilots that seem to descend from the atmosphere to the sea, within seconds, defying the laws of gravity and physics?
0.7 of 1 second.
0.7 of 1 second.
From 80,000 feet. in stopping instantaneously at the surface of the ocean because they've been engaged in a back engineering program. They've had these craft for some time, and they've been engaged in back engineering the technology, trying to replicate some of these. And so there appear to be some craft that have been back engineered and constructed and that are being flown by U.S. Air Force personnel in a deep secret program. But the reality is that there are a major number of other craft that are not ours. They're not Soviet, or they're not Russian, and they're not Chinese. And so they're from somewhere else. But now that they've recovered the bodies, and they've actually DNA tested them, they know that they're non-human.
Okay, so, all right, say this gets confirmed. What you're saying, what your whistleblowers have told you that worked in the Defense Department, how long do you think that they were here?
Well, they've been here, basically, a lot of the sightings started right around the dropping of the first atomic bomb in 1945. That's when they began showing up around White Sands in the Yucca Flats, and they've been spotted since then. And that they've been, the first crash retrieval was recovered in 1947. Okay, so they've been here since then. And there's all kinds of evidence indicating they've been here periodically earlier.
You know, when this story first came out a few weeks ago, as a resident of New Jersey, as a journalist, I didn't pay it much credence. I thought it would turn out to be a bunch of pranksters and this would all be over by now. The experience I had last night, however, changed the way I feel about this story completely. What I saw was more sophisticated than I ever imagined. Take a look.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, at least 5 lights, 6 lights.
I didn't believe what I was seeing. But what was I seeing? We're here in Central Jersey. We've been looking for the past hour. I think we've seen about 40 or 50 of these drones. In fact, there's one over my shoulder right there. One after another, after another. You know, the Ocean County Sheriff, that drone unit, they have an industrial grade drone. They put it up. They were tracking one of these drones, Elizabeth, and they said this thing easily evaded them, disappeared out of thin air. So, you know, to me, it's, if this is not our military, then it's even more scary, and we need the answers, frankly.
Wow, Jason A, thank you for that. Wow. It's they're here. They've been here. They've been here before us here. We don't know much about the ocean. Only 5%. That's all we know is 5% of the ocean. If we only know 5%, who are we to judge if they are or not any beings in the ocean? They're here. They've been here. They're very smart. They're integrated with our governments. I believe they're within the Democrat Party. I make a joke, but it seems to be creepy because of the way they think and how they push the wrong agendas, and they go against the grain, and they're never happy, and they seem very alien-like to me, very angry, very alien. But we're all aliens. It's not really offensive because we're all aliens. Yeah, we're human, but we're still aliens. You know, even if we so happen to run into a planet or an object that has civilization in it, we're aliens to them and them to us. So it goes both ways. We're alien too. And that 3-eye atlas, that sucker is going to make a close approach out here. And maybe this is the big awakening that I've been like fantasizing, where everybody's going to be like, oh shit. Like moment that is going to catch the whole world's attention is it, because I talked about it a lot on my show, and that there is going to be a moment where everybody's going to be like, wow, like, okay, but I do got more to show you guys. So sit back, relax, and let's catch some Melody King. Let's watch some Melody King. Let's go.
What's going to happen next is Trump going to federalize the New York City Police Department. What's after that? Chicago, LA. What's after that? The NFL, the NBA. You're going to federalize them and take them over?
Democrats are losing it. One screaming that Trump might federalize the NBA. Yes. Another is calling Stephen Miller a white supremacist. And while they panic, the facts prove that Trump, well, he made DC safer in just 11 days. Land acknowledgements, weed-filled streets, crime spin. The left is collapsing, and they don't even see it.
So they don't want to see it.
Next is Trump going to federalize the New York City Police Department. What's after that? Chicago, LA, Miami, Boston, and on and on. What's after that? The NFL, the NBA. You're going to federalize them and take them over? All he wants to do is deflect from his inadequacy by these bold, insane moves. Take over DC police. That's not what I need. I don't need this DC police to be taken over. I don't. I need to get the tariffs over with. I need to get the war over with. I need to get the Gaza thing over with. And after that, we have something else we have to get over.
Oh, here we go. Trump's going to federalize the NBA. That's the big threat. Forget skyrocketing crime. Forget inflation. Forget the fact that people can't walk their neighborhoods safely. No. Democrats are sweating that Trump might run the Lakers. This is what happens when your entire platform, your political platform, is built on panic. It's like watching a toddler have a meltdown in aisle 7 of Target. They're loud, dramatic, and absolutely clueless. And speaking of clueless, well, this meltdown, I want you to watch how the media smears anyone, and I mean anyone, connected to Trump.
Really quickly, Abby, because anytime that we play something from Stephen Miller, it would be journalistic integrity to point out that he is a white supremacist and he is the brainchild behind this policy. That's not my opinion. That's actual facts. And for him to purport lies from the Oval Office as a white supremacist, I don't know. It should be pointed out.
Yes. The left's favorite word, white supremacist. That's what they say when they don't like someone. Just slap that label on them. Stephen Miller secured the border, put America first. So, of course, well, to the left, that makes him a Klansman. They shout it like it's a fact. But here's the truth. It's lazy. When you can't win the argument, scream racism until people stop listening. Really? It's tired, it's cheap, and it's all they got. But here's what they won't admit. When Trump actually took control of DC policing, the results spoke for themselves.
How come in the past 11 days, since President Trump has federalized the DC Metro Police, no black individual has been unalived? There's a stat that says in the past 7 years in DC that black people are 112 times more likely to be unalived than white people. So if Black Lives Matter, the left, Democrats, progressives, how come you all are not celebrating that no black person has been unalived in the past 11 days in DC since Trump took over?
Think about this. 11 days, not one black life lost in DC after Trump federalized the police. 11 days in a city that's been drowning in Democrat-run violence. If Black Lives Matter really cared about black lives, well, this would be their headline. But no. Silence. Because if they admit that Trump saved lives, their entire narrative collapses. They'd rather bury the truth than admit he got results. But it didn't stop there. In less than a month, Trump cleaned up what Democrats ignored for decades.
People don't understand how big of a deal this is because the Capitol is right there within like a 6 or 7 minute walk. And then also local residents, they did not like walking there, whether in the daytime or the evening. Some people would take taxis just to avoid any type of encounters. And people have been talking about cleaning this up for a decade. And you mean to tell me President Trump hasn't even had control for 30 days and he cleaned it all up?
Less than 30 days.
Wow.
And people are saying, wow, I can finally walk outside without fear. Democrats had years. They let the Capitol rot while families lived in terror. Trump steps in and boom, cleaned up. It's not magic. It's called leadership. And that's exactly why the left is terrified of him. Because every time he acts, he completely exposes their incompetence. And for regular Americans, this wasn't politics. This was life or death. Just listen to this story.
More than 2 years ago, it was a Saturday morning in broad daylight. I was on my way to work, and a young man with a black ski mask pointed a gun at my face and threatened me to hand over my phone, my wallet, my laptop, and everything else. And when I refused, he used the butt of his handgun to strike me across the face, the cheek, or what some people call pistol whip me before running away. And that has deeply traumatized myself and my family. Ever since, I've never dared to walk in the street of DC at night ever, and my family was extremely worried. So, Mr. President, thank you so much for what you're doing right now. Thank you for now making DC safer.
Thank you very much.
For us, for our families, for my parents, on my behalf of my parents, and now my baby on the way. Thank you so much.
Aww. This is heartbreaking. Traumatized. Family afraid to even walk at night. That's life in a Democrat-run DC, and says, thank you for making my city safe again. That's what real leadership does. It changes lives. Democrats give excuses. Trump gave protection. That's the difference. But of course, instead of facing reality, the left does what it always does. Spin the numbers.
7, 8 of the top 10 deadliest cities in America. Big cities are usually in red states. If you look at, Gavin Newsom and the speaker sort of had a back and forth this weekend. Speaker Johnson's home state of Louisiana, 400 times more likely. You're 400 times more likely to be killed in Louisiana than you are in California. Certainly nothing you ever hear in the right-wing sort of blogosphere.
So it looks like that the left is finding out that facts matter more than feelings. And I think that is the perfect segue to show you guys my facts over feelings shirt. I have this in different colorways. I have it for men and women, as well as a slew of other merch that you guys might want to check out. I really appreciate the support. It does help our channel out because we get censored all the time. You guys leave comments like, hey, I was just watching that video. Where'd it go? Well, we get censored. So if you want to show your support, you can check out the merch at realmelanieking.com. The link will be in the description box below, as well as the pinned comment. Now let's get back into the video.
Specifically, the chances of being killed or of having violent crime done to you or your family member is so much higher. The percentages in Monroe, Louisiana, which is right by the Speaker's district, Shreveport, Louisiana, which is in the Speaker's district, New Orleans, Louisiana, which is in the Speaker's home state, Little Rock, Arkansas, home of course, Tom Cotton and some very conservative governor, Bessemer, Alabama, right there in Birmingham. Again, what's Tommy Tuberville doing? Why is crime so bad?
Here we go. The dishonest dance. Oh, crime is worse in red states. Nice try. They cherry pick entire states to cover up Democrat-run disaster zones like Chicago, Baltimore, St. Louis. Newsflash, Louisiana isn't pulling the trigger. Democrat mayors and DAs in cities like New Orleans are. Same with Little Rock. Same with Birmingham. The left acts like state borders commit crimes. No. It's your policies, your prosecutors, your failed leadership. And the only thing they're better at running than cities into the ground is twisting the stats in order to blame someone else. And while they're busy lying with numbers, here's what they think counts as governing.
Lindy Samek Nindichikaz, Amek Dodam, Saginaw Chippewa Dojaba, Anishinaabe Kwe and Dow. The DNC acknowledges and honors the Dakota Oyate, the Dakota people, who are the original stewards of the lands and waters of Minneapolis. The Dakota cared for the lands, lakes, and the Wapatonka, the Great River, the Mississippi River, for thousands of years before colonization. This land was not claimed or traded. It's a part of a history of broken treaties and promises. And in many ways, we still live in a system built to suppress Indigenous peoples' cultural and spiritual history.
Oh, this is rich. Democrats stand up, mumble through a list of tribes they can't even pronounce, and they call it leadership. Meanwhile, Minneapolis, well, the streets, they're filled with crime, drugs, and fear. Land acknowledgments don't stop carjackings. Virtual signaling doesn't stop murders. It's just all political theater. That's what the left does. They honor the land, but not the actual people living on it. It's embarrassing at this point. And while they're patting themselves on the back, here's what regular people actually smell when they walk these Democrat-led blue cities.
I'm not a big fan of the smell of weed when you walk around. No, but seriously, it's not even. I'm not even joking.
Oh, you can't be my friend then.
Every corner, every street, you smell it by almost anywhere you go.
Yep, every corner, every block. The smell of weed.
Hey, I smoke
can't even
weed.
take their kids
What?
downtown without
Come on
walking
now.
through a cloud of pot smoke. Democrats, well, they like to call
You
that
make me
progress.
want to smoke
Forget
now.
fixing
I'm gonna
crime,
smoke
forget
another
helping
one.
working families. Just hand out joints and call it justice.
That's what I'm
It's
doing.
like
I'm gonna roll a
the
joint.
whole city is one giant college dorm, and they wonder why people are fleeing these places in droves. Really? You don't know why they're fleeing?
Hey, I'm here and I'm
Oh, Lord.
genderqueer, and we all need to remember that free Gaza, trans rights are human rights.
Kilmar is our neighbor. You can't have him, Trump. No! Kilmar is our neighbor. You can't have him, Trump.
So here's the big picture. Democrats scream that Trump's going to federalize the NBA. They smear his allies as racist. They bury the stats that prove he saves lives. And they distract with land acknowledgments and crime spin while their cities collapse around them. Meanwhile, Trump steps in for less than a month, cleans up DC, saves lives, and gives families hope. That's why the left is losing it, because every single time Trump acts, he reminds America just how useless Democrats really are. They're not just losing arguments, they're losing reality. And the louder they scream, the clearer it gets. 2028 is coming, and they can't stop it.
That's wild. That is wild. I mean, the Democrats are wild. We know that for a fact. We know they're, I don't know, maybe they're a little alien. Maybe they're a little from not these parts of the world. I'm pretty sure the Democrats, I don't know. There's something wrong with you guys. I don't know what's wrong. It's just you guys used to be good. You guys got manipulated. I think they programmed you a certain way and you guys got like fucked up in the head. You know, even my chair agrees. I mean, they're talking about medicine, smoking medicine and smelling medicine. I'm like, you know what? Since you're talking about medicine, I'm going to roll me some medicine and smoke me some medicine since you want to talk shit about medicine. Yes, I agree. It shouldn't be in every corner. I totally agree about that. I mean, if you're going to smoke medicine / weed / marijuana, do it in like, be like not out in the public, you know, like be within your confined home, discretion. How about that? You know, be very, you know, it's just don't be smoking out on the streets and in parks and in where sidewalks and stuff like that. No, you should be doing this in your home, chilling, relaxing, kicking back, smoking your crib. When you're done, you get the munchies, you go out, go for that walk, go to the bodega, pick up your sandwich, pick up that coffee, go back to the crib, crash out, play some video games. That's what they do. It's like Like they will work. They don't work. The younglings, shit. They're the little gangbaggers out there. The young ones is the ones that are the ruthless ones. They're really ballsy. But since school has come back into session, a lot of these younglings are not going to be out and about during the day. So it'll be a little bit more safer during the day in Washington. And the fact that you have National Guard and all the police are deputized, and it's going to be more safer. Um, I'm actually thinking maybe I could go to Washington, um, and maybe I could do something maybe in December. I just don't want to go. Like, I don't want to drive. That's my thing, right? I don't want to drive to Washington, but I could also take the train. I can take the train. The only thing is with the train, I know when I'm done with the train, I'm going to be hurting. And that's because of the vibrations and the up and down. And the vibrations, you don't really feel it, but my neck, I feel it. So it's like that vibration will hurt me. So I may have to get like a sleeper, like a little roomette, like a little room where I could have my bed, and I could, usually those rooms come to like bunk beds, like a top and a bottom bed. So, and I could take the bottom bunk, and I could fall asleep on that because I would like the vibration of the train. I think I would like that. I think I could fall asleep with that because my bed vibrates because I have a Tempur-Pedic, Prostopedic, and I have the massage feature on it that vibrates. So it's something that I invested in. Um, but I think I might take maybe my first train trip because I've never been on a train to go anywhere. Like to go on a trip, no, I have not been on a train to go on a trip. So I'm very curious and very willing to go through this experience. I don't know how much the price would be for it. I know what I would probably do is go on the train and then have my reservation for a hotel where I could stay possibly 2 to 3 nights, possibly 3 nights, because to do Washington, you're going to need some time, and you're going to need some rest too. And you're going to be out and about like the whole day, and it's going to take time. So maybe 3 to 4 days will probably be better. And yeah, it could be something that can be done. I would like to see the White House for Christmas, like around the Christmas time, not Christmas Day, but around the Christmas time, like early December. I think it would look pretty, especially if it snows and after a snowfall. I think that would be so gorgeous. Um, I don't want to fly to Washington. I just not confident on the airlines. It's just they're doing shitty maintenance. The maintenance is not the greatest, and these airlines are getting old. But the new ones are not any safer, so you're kind of like screwed on that end. Um, but we're gonna go ahead and continue on with the show. I don't think I'm gonna show the Caroline Levitt from the press room. But I mean, I'm gonna go and show these two here. So let's go to Holman first, and let's set it up. Yeah, what I have this here now. Let me set them all up, just in case. because I'm gonna wait for the Tyson to upload. Hopefully, it'll come up at 10:15. Whenever it comes up, I'll bring it on. So with that said, we're gonna go on to Tom Holman. So enjoy.
Store was robbed so many times that they had to spend exorbitant sums of money on security, jeopardizing her family's financial future. But thanks to President Trump's strong action, Indu said, quote, "All of my employees, including me, we feel much safer, and even our customers feel really happy when they walk into our store." And just yesterday, Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser credited President Trump for surging federal law enforcement personnel and said neighborhoods, quote, "feel and are much safer." We thank Mayor Bowser for her cooperation and her willingness to help us make DC safe and beautiful. This entire effort has vindicated what President Trump and law and order advocates have been saying for years. And this is our message to Americans in Democrat-run cities nationwide. Decline is a choice. You don't have to live in constant fear of being robbed, raped, or murdered. Your leaders are lying to you, and they have been failing you for decades. The President Trump approach of upholding law and order by letting our brave men and women in blue actually do their jobs
I went straight to the
aggressively
press
fight
room.
crime works. In just a few weeks,
Hold on a second. Let me hit timeout. I went straight to the press. I wasn't even supposed. I was gonna play this, but something made me go there and play it. So we're gonna watch it. Oh man, that's awesome. That was a surprise because I was going to Tom Holman, but it went back to Caroline Leavitt, and we're watching it. So let's watch it.
President Trump has done more for DC residents than Democrats did in 50 years. And this can be replicated in other crime-ridden cities across the nation. As President Trump has said, all of these elected officials in charge have to do is pick up the phone and ask for the president and the federal government's help. President Trump doesn't care if they are a Republican or a Democrat leader. He wants Americans to be safe and for every law-abiding American citizen across the country to be able to thrive in their city and in their community. With that, I'll take questions. Here in our new media seat today, we have social media influencer, content creator, Brandon Tatum. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us today. Why don't you kick us off?
That's so cool.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And on behalf of everybody that follow me, the millions of people that follow me, I want to say thank you for making the sacrifice and dealing with some of the most disingenuous people on planet Earth at times. I have two questions. The first question is associated with the shooting that occurred the other day. And I want to ask the question of, we know that it's not a gun thing. Any rational person knows it's not a gun thing. We know it's a mental health issue. So I want to know from you, what is President Trump and the White House going to do to address mental health issues around the country associated with these shootings? And the second thing is Chicago. You know, anybody with a connected brainstem knows that Chicago's crime is out of control. And young black men are getting killed, laying dead in the middle of the streets every single day in Chicago. No president has addressed any of these issues. And so what is the White House going to do to address issues in their capacity to deal with the conflict and violence in Chicago?
Sure. Well, to your first question about this shooting in Minnesota, right now, the administration is focused on helping the people of Minnesota. It's been less than a day, of course, since this tragedy happened. We have federal law enforcement on the ground assisting local law enforcement. This investigation is ongoing. There's still a lot of facts to understand about these circumstances. And so we're going to continue to do that. As for Chicago and cracking down on crime, it is a priority of this administration to ensure that American cities are safe again. And I'm so glad that you brought up the crime in Chicago, because we've been seeing the governor of Illinois parading out there saying that there's nothing wrong with Chicago. It's a great place to live. There's no crime there. He doesn't need President Trump's help. Well, I think the residents of Chicago beg to differ, and the statistics beg to differ. And I'll just share a few of those statistics with all of you. For 13 consecutive years, Chicago has had the most murders of any U.S. city. This is J.B. Pritzker's legacy, by the way. For 7 consecutive years, Chicago has had the highest murder rate among U.S. cities with more than 1 million people. In 2024, just last year, Chicago's murder rate per capita was 3 times higher than Los Angeles and nearly 5 times higher than New York City. That's more than double the murder rate in Islamabad and nearly 15 times more than Delhi. Out of Chicago's 147,899 reported crimes this year, that's how many crimes have been reported in Chicago since January 1st. There have only been arrests in 16% of them. These numbers are unacceptable. There have been more illegal guns recovered in Chicago than in New York City and Los Angeles combined. The number of reported motor vehicle thefts last year was more than double the number in 2021. And Chicago has also, just like DC, come under scrutiny over discrepancies in its homicide data reporting. So as bad as these numbers are, perhaps they are even worse. And this is Governor Pritzker's legacy. He should put politics aside. He should pick up the phone and call this president, who would be more than happy to do right by law-abiding American residents in the city of Chicago. And we hope that he will. Gabe, and thanks for being here, Brandon.
Carolyn, thank you so much. First, on the firing of the CDC director, who will replace her? And then also, overnight, the White House said that she did not align with the president's agenda. Dr. Menard's attorneys say that she refused to rubber stamp unscientific, reckless directives and fired dedicated health experts. What specifically did she do wrong?
Look, what I will say about this individual is that her lawyer's statement made it abundantly clear themselves that she was not aligned with the president's mission to make America healthy again. And the secretary asked her to resign. She said she would, and then she said she wouldn't. So the president fired her, which he has every right to do. It was President Trump who was overwhelmingly reelected on November 5th. This woman has never received a vote in her life, and the president has the authority to fire those who are not aligned with his mission. A new replacement will be announced by either the president or the secretary very soon. And the president and Secretary Kennedy are committed to restoring trust and transparency and credibility to the CDC by ensuring their leadership and their decisions are more public facing, more accountable, strengthening our public health system, and restoring it to its core mission of protecting Americans from communicable diseases, investing in innovation to prevent, detect, and respond to future threats. That's the mission of the CDC, and we're going to make sure that folks that are in positions of leadership there are aligned with that mission.
Briefly on another topic, alligator Alcatraz. Last week, a judge on an environmental concerns lawsuit said that the administration had 60 days to wind down operations there, state officials did. Now, the administration has not been shy in fighting back against what it calls activist judges, but why is it backing down this time?
We're not backing down. We've always said that we are going to continue to fight in the court of law for what's right, because we know that what this administration is doing with respect to all policy, but also immigration policy, is above the books, and we're abiding by our nation's immigration laws. And we think it's despicable that an activist judge has inserted themselves in this migrant detention facility to the point where DHS is now having to relocate these illegal immigrants to other detention facilities around the country. That is an unnecessary burden on the Department of Homeland Security and these agents who should be removing these criminals from our community. That's what the American people elected this president to do. So we've always maintained, Gabe, we're going to comply with court orders, but we're also going to fight back on them on the merits of the law. And DHS is in compliance while we disagree with this decision, and we'll continue to fight it in court. Let's go to...
Hey,
go ahead.
Thanks so much. So just following up on the CDC firing,
sure.
Are you anticipating other changes there at CDC in addition to that firing? And is the administration going through in a very sort of organized fashion? Is there a task force that's going through high-level appointees to see who is or isn't aligned with the mission? Like, should we expect more?
Not to my knowledge. I understand there were a few other individuals who resigned after the firing of Ms. Monarez. One of those individuals wrote in his departure statement that he identifies pregnant women as pregnant people. So that's not someone who we want in this administration anyway. So if people are not aligned with the president's vision and the secretary's vision to make our country healthy again, then we will gladly show them the door.
Caroline, can I just
go to the back?
Thank you, Caroline.
Go behind you, Andrew. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Caroline. The military deployment that President Trump has sent to the Caribbean Sea close to the shores with Venezuela is massive. It's much more that is needed to simply counter narcotics operations. Is President Trump considering launching military strikes to military installments or facilities in Venezuelan soil?
I won't get ahead of the president with respect to any military action or questions about that ever. But what I will tell you is that many Caribbean nations and many nations in the region have applauded the administration's counter-drug operations and efforts, and the president is prepared to use every element of American power to stop drugs from flooding into our country and to bring those responsible to justice. And as I've said from this podium before, the Maduro regime is not the legitimate government of Venezuela. It is a narco-terror cartel. Maduro is not a legitimate president. He is a fugitive head of this drug cartel. He has been indicted in the United States for trafficking drugs into our country, and it is the utmost responsibility of this president and this administration to prevent the illicit flow of drugs into our country and to protect citizens from those deadly poisons. Reagan.
Thanks, Caroline. I have two questions for you.
Sure.
Democrats, including former White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, attacked prayer and pushed gun control in the aftermath of yesterday's shooting. What's the White House's response to their comments?
Yes, I saw the comments of my predecessor, Ms. Psaki, and frankly, I think they're incredibly insensitive and disrespectful to the tens of millions of Americans of faith across this country who believe in the power of prayer, who believe that prayer works, and who believe that in a time of mourning like this, when beautiful young children were killed while praying in a church, it's utterly disrespectful to deride the power of prayer in this country. And it's disrespectful to the millions of Americans of faith. And I would encourage Ms. Psaki to pray for these families themselves who need it right now more than ever.
My second question for you is that there have been media outlets who have glazed over the fact that the shooter was confused in their gender identity. Does the administration believe that this element needs to be investigated in the shooting?
All of the elements are being investigated in the shooting, absolutely. Which is why part of the reason the FBI director came out and immediately confirmed that facet of the investigation. John.
Thanks a lot, Carolyn. Two questions on two separate issues. First of all, the drone and missile strikes that took place overnight in Ukraine. General Keith Kellogg, the president's special envoy, has described these attacks as egregious. Do you agree with that description? And do you view President Putin as an impediment to getting peace between these two countries?
Well, it's not about if I agree, it's about what the president thinks. And I know what the president thinks because I talked to him about this. He was not happy about this news, but he was also not surprised. These are two countries that have been at war for a very long time. Russia launched this attack on Kyiv, and likewise, Ukraine recently dealt a blow to Russia's oil refineries. They have taken out, as a matter of fact, 20% of Russia's oil refinery capacity over the course of their attacks throughout the month of August. So the president is continuing to watch this intently, and this killing, unfortunately, will continue as long as the war continues, which is why the president wants it to end. And that's why he's worked harder than anyone to end this war, which would have never started if he were president. But perhaps both sides of this war are not ready to end it themselves. The president wants it to end, but the leaders of these two countries need it to end and want it to end, must want it to end as well. And I think the president will make some additional statements on this later.
My second question has to do with, I just had one more, if I may. It has to do with the president's intention to remove Lisa Cook as a member of the Federal Reserve Board. He is going or acting upon allegations that have been made by Trump administration official Bill Pulte. These are just allegations. She hasn't been convicted yet of any crime. Is the administration opposed to allowing Ms. Cook to have due process to challenge what has been alleged against her?
I believe she is challenging it. I believe she just filed a lawsuit today, and Mr. Pulte has deferred those allegations over to the Department of Justice to investigate them. What I will say is that you had these mortgage receipts very clearly shown to the president, and he has the cause that he needs to fire this individual. He laid it out in the letter that he provided to her and to the public as well. And so we'll continue to fight this battle. Carrie.
Hi, Caroline. So the president just announced that he wants to have a convention right before the midterms next year. The GNC has countered that they too want to have a convention right before the midterms as well. What's the White House's response to that? And can you give us just a little bit of a hint or tease here as to how the president envisions convention in the, like, for the midterms?
Look, the president put out a statement on this earlier today. I'll let him speak further on the plans that he envisions, but I think he's very proud of the accomplishments and the achievements of his administration, as he should be. The most secure border in United States history, a crackdown on crime here in our nation's capital, an attack or a reversal of the attack on our energy industry from the previous administration. As I just pointed out to you, gas prices today, this Labor Day, are the lowest they've been since Labor Day in 2020. Our economy is bringing in trillions of dollars in revenue from all over the world again. So there's so much for Republicans and for the president and for Americans across the country to be proud of. And I think the president wants to see that celebrated. But for any further details on this as they come, we'll provide you with them. Iris.
Thank you, Caroline. 2 questions on the shooting. What's the administration's message to some concerned parents across the country who might be now worried about their kids' safety in light of the latest incident?
We completely and totally understand the concerns of parents across the country. This tragedy it's heartbreaking. As a parent myself, there are no words to describe just the heartbreak that these families must be enduring, which is why the president and the first lady have encouraged everyone to continue to pray for these families and these victims. And it's why this administration is focused on removing public safety threats from our communities. And in fact, I can share with all of you that last night in Washington, D.C., when arrests were being made, there was an arrest of a juvenile right here in D.C. in Ward 7 for threats to kidnap and injure, receiving stolen property, possession of a large capacity feeding device, unlawful possession of firearms and ammunition. A search warrant was executed. 7 firearms were recovered, and the juvenile was arrested after an investigation was initiated based on social media posts allegedly threatening violence towards a school. So this was a juvenile who was a risk to not just himself, but the community here in Washington, and he was removed from the community last night because of the law enforcement efforts of this administration. And I would also point to the statement of our wonderful First Lady that she released yesterday. She wrote, "The tragic mass killing in Minnesota illuminates the need for preemptive intervention in identifying school shooters. Early warning signs are often evident, with many individuals exhibiting concerning behaviors and making violent threats online prior to their actions. We encourage all Americans, as the old saying goes, if you see something, say something. If you see warning signs or threats, report it to law enforcement." This administration, federal law enforcement, will take those reports and those threats seriously. They will be treated as a law enforcement emergency, and we will act accordingly.
And on the First Lady's statement, would the administration consider ramping up resources on these fronts to parents and schools across the country to help them look into these signs and prevent more tragedies?
It's a very fair question, Iris. As for any potential future policy decisions or funding questions, it's just been over 24 hours since this tragedy occurred. Right now, we're focused on the FBI and their investigation and uncovering all the facts, and we'll leave those very important policy discussions to another day.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Megan Lang. I had a question about the Lisa Cook lawsuit that you mentioned. Does the president plan to wait until that lawsuit is resolved to appoint her replacement?
I will leave that to the president to make that decision in that announcement himself. Brian.
Thank you, Caroline. 2 questions. Bouncing off the CDC situation, CDC. I'm curious if administration officials are pushing back on the president's agenda, privately, publicly, however, should they fear to lose their jobs going forward?
Look, I think if you're doing your job well, and if you are executing on the vision and the promises that the president made to the public who elected him back to this office, then you should have no fear about your job. Just do your job. That's what this president wants to see. He wants to see people solving problems. He wants to see the people who have the privilege of serving the American taxpayer and the federal government abiding by the wishes of the American taxpayers who overwhelmingly reelected him in this cabinet to make America great again, or in this case, make America healthy again.
On the Intel deal, where the U.S. got a stake in that company, there's two things I want to ask about that. The first is, what did the U.S. get back in return for that deal? And the second thing is, what are the future plans for giving any form of money to another company? It could be through the CHIPS Act, like this deal, or some other form of funds. What are the plans there by this White House administration?
Well, look, as you know, Brian, very well, because you cover it often, the Intel deal is still being ironed out by the Department of Commerce. The T's are still being crossed. The I's are still being dotted. These it's very much still under discussion. But the president's thinking, I can share with you, is certainly to ensure that the United States government is making our country wealthy again and is benefiting from some of these deals. And it's a creative solution. I know it's outside the box thinking, which is uncommon in this city, but it's something that he proposed and something that the Secretary of Commerce is working on putting into action. Mary.
Thanks, Caroline. I have a couple questions on the shooting yesterday. The first one, this is the second shooting involving a trans-identifying shooter who specifically targeted Christians and Catholic kids. What kind of consequences do the gender-affirming therapists, doctors, or even the parents of these shooters face after these types of shootings?
Well, as for the parents and potential therapists in this case, again, all of that is still currently being investigated by the FBI. I know the Secretary of Health and Human Services this morning said that HHS is investigating perhaps links between some of these drugs and these prescription drugs that some of these minors may be taking and an increase in violence. And obviously we have mental health problems in this country that this administration and Secretary Kennedy will continue to speak out about and the work that we're doing to solve it.
Thank you. And just to follow up, I've seen a lot of calls for action, among these lawmakers saying that we shouldn't just be praying. One that I've seen on the right actually is calls for the FBI to institute a new class of domestic terrorism that involves trans ideology. Is that something that the administration would support?
I would have to check with the appropriate people on that.
Daniel.
Thank you, Caroline. We saw some new revised economic data come out today showing the U.S. economy grew at a 3.3% clip, largely buoyed by a surge in capex. What's the White House reaction to this, and is this sort of the president's vision beginning to come to life after the Big Beautiful Bill was passed in July?
Yes, I mean, look, we did say that once the Big Beautiful Bill was signed into law, we're going to see the effects of this massive pro-growth piece of legislation. As I laid out for you, as we head into the Labor Day weekend, there's many positive economic indicators that the American people can be hopeful about. But don't forget, we are reversing 4 years of reckless spending from the previous administration, of slamming regulations down the throats of American business owners and consumers across the country. But the administration is working very hard to unravel all of that and to ensure that small business owners and workers are thriving and that they have more money in their own pockets to spend. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Caroline. Back on the CDC, there was reporting that some of the initial problems between RFK and the CDC director stemmed from miscommunications or differences on vaccine policy. So I wonder if you could just say whether or not the president believes that the COVID vaccine should be available to and covered by insurance for all Americans, regardless of age and pre-existing conditions.
What I will tell you is that the FDA recently revoked the emergency use authorizations for 3 COVID vaccinations while simultaneously greenlighting 4 new COVID-19 vaccines with 2025 and 2026 formulas. The reason for the revocation of that emergency use authorization is because obviously the COVID pandemic and the public health emergency is over. But just to correct the record, because there's been a lot of misinformation on this, the FDA's decision does not affect the availability of COVID vaccines for Americans who want them. We believe in individual choice. That's a promise both the president and the secretary have made, and it's a promise they have now delivered on.
Question, if I could, Caroline. Second question, if I could. Sorry. I wonder if you could answer why the president hasn't acknowledged the shooting at CDC headquarters that took place earlier in August, where a police officer was killed, and it was reported that the motivation for the shooting was somebody who was really unhappy with the effects of the COVID vaccine.
We absolutely were very much aware of that shooting. The Secretary of Health and Human Services put out a statement immediately. He was in touch with the CDC, and he actually traveled to Georgia to assess the situation and to mourn with the people who work in that building there. So, go ahead.
With respect to Labor Day, one of the most underrepresented groups right now are police officers. 30,000 police officers short in America right now. To Brandon's question, 1,300 short in Chicago, 3,000 short in New York, 500 short here in Washington, D.C. What can the White House, what can the president do to help recruitment of police officers? You've done well with the military and Border Patrol. What can be done to get more police officers on the streets of America?
Well, the president has certainly been very successful in recruiting federal law enforcement. If you look at the ICE recruitment campaign that was led by he and our Secretary of Homeland Security, we've seen more than, I believe, 130,000 applicants to join ICE, which is just amazing. There's more applicants now than there are jobs to fill, and we're very grateful for that. Clearly, Americans want to serve their communities. They just need a leader who encourages them to do so. So maybe Governor Pritzker should spend less time demonizing the police, more time trying to recruit more police, and more time trying to call the president of the United States to get crime in his city under control. The president wants to allow law enforcement, whether it's state, local, federal, to do their jobs, to arrest criminals, to put them behind bars, and to remove public safety threats from American communities. He'll continue to do that. Thank you, guys.
Wow. That was a good press conference there. And now, the press conference coming on with me. And we're going to end the show soon. This is the last show of the night. And I truly appreciate you guys for sticking it out and watching with me. And for those who are rewatching, thank you. I truly appreciate it. Thank you, Tyson, again, for coming through in the early show. He was here for almost 2 hours. That's really cool. I truly appreciate it very much. But let's go ahead and let's get this set up here with Tyson, because we got a Tyson. He had put an entry in while we were watching that. So we're going to watch to end the night, to end the show. Great show once again. We're going to end it off with some Tyson DeLacruz. So this is going to be good. I know it's going to be good. Let's go ahead and make this nice and big. Let's go ahead and fix this. You know, we always got to put the sound. Got to put the sound. And then we have to resize it. And all right, here we go. This is how we end the show with On My Mind Over Your Matter, with the gentleman that was here earlier on tonight's show, Tyson DeLacruz.
For two self-professed religious leaders, one arrested right here in the Triangle.
America, we just uncovered one of the most disturbing religious fraud cases in recent history. Two so-called religious leaders, David Taylor, who calls himself an apostle, and Michelle Brennan, who has been arrested for running a $50 million forced labor operation disguised as a ministry. They allegedly enslaved followers in a call center across 4 states, forcing them to work without pay, use the donations to fund luxury lifestyles while threatening victims with divine punishment if they disobey. But here's the most disturbing part. Taylor allegedly required his personal servants, called armored barriers, to transport women to him and ensure they took emergency contraceptives afterwards.
Oh, we were just talking about this, Tyson.
Two pastors now facing federal charges in a $50 million labor and money laundering scandal linked to a Houston ministry. An active investigation is happening at the Joshua Media Ministries International.
What is up, guys? Tyson DeLacruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. This story exposes exactly how predators use religion to exploit vulnerable people while living like kings off their victims' suffering. Let me break down this operation because it's absolutely sickening. David Taylor, who's 53 years old, and Michelle Brennan, who's 56 years old, ran the Kingdom of God Global Church, formerly known as Joshua Media Ministries International. Taylor called himself an apostle and claimed to be Jesus's best friend, saying he had multiple face-to-face encounters with God.
Their church, known as the Kingdom of God Global Church and formerly the Joshua Media Ministries International, with Taylor referring to himself as an apostle and also Jesus's best friend.
But instead of serving God, these two were running a sophisticated criminal enterprise. They operated call centers in Michigan, Florida, Texas, and Missouri, where they forced workers to work long hours, solicit donations without pay. The victims lived in ministry housing or slept at the call centers, with their movements strictly monitored and controlled.
Federal investigators say David Taylor, who refers to himself as apostle and Jesus's best friend, and his second in command, Michelle Brennan, lured people people in nationwide with promises to fulfill their spiritual hunger and work as unpaid phone solicitors at call centers to serve as Taylor's arm bearer.
The federal indictment reveals that Taylor set impossible donation goals that were designed to fail. When victims couldn't meet these unrealistic quotas, they faced brutal punishment, including public humiliation, food restrictions, sleep deprivation, physical assaults, and threats on divine judgment and eternal punishment. Here's where this case gets particularly disturbing. Taylor had what he called armored barriers, essentially personal slaves who had to serve him around the clock. These weren't just assistants, they were people completely under his control who had to fulfill his every demand. According to prosecutors, these armored barriers were tasked with transporting women to Taylor's location. Even more disturbing, some of these women were allegedly told to take emergency contraceptives. Think about what this implies. This fake apostle was using his religious authority to exploit women while making sure there would be no evidence for his actions.
Meanwhile, he's accused of forcing people to work in call centers in Michigan, Florida, Texas, and Missouri. And the indictment says he set unattainable goals, punishing those folks by public humiliation, food and shelter restrictions, physical assaults, and more.
This is textbook cult behavior, using religious authority to control every aspect of people's lives, including their bodies. Taylor wasn't just stealing money, he was stealing people's dignity, freedom, and basic human rights. While victims were being starved, beaten, and psychologically tortured, Taylor and Brennan were living like royalty. Since 2014, they allegedly collected approximately $50 million in donations that were supposed to go towards religious work and helping people.
The indictment also accuses the pair of using millions in donations to fund a lavish lifestyle, buying luxury properties, cars, a boat, jet skis, and more, while threatening victims with humiliation, food restrictions, sleep deprivation, and even claims of divine punishment if they fail to comply.
Instead of helping everyone, they spent the money on luxury properties, expensive cars, boats, jet skis, and other recreational vehicles. So while people were sleeping on the floors of call centers and being denied food as punishment, Taylor was buying boats and jet skis with the money that donors thought were going to help people.
Federal officials allege Taylor lived lavishly off nearly $50 million in donations since 2014. The FBI says the takedown spanned multiple states, including right here in Texas, along with Florida and Missouri.
The contrast is absolutely disgusting. Victims were threatened with divine punishment if they didn't work harder to raise money, while Taylor was using that same money to fund a lifestyle that would make Hollywood celebrities jealous. The FBI conducted a massive multi-state operation to take down this criminal enterprise. They raided properties in Houston, North Carolina, and Florida as part of a coordinated effort involving multiple field offices.
Multiple law enforcement agencies, including the FBI, are at Joshua Media Ministries International off the North Freeway. According to its website, this is a Kingdom of God global church.
The investigation revealed the scope of this operation. The facility in Houston was a former hotel that had been converted into a ministry campus, housing missionaries and students. But instead of training religious workers, it was being used as a base for forced labor operations.
This forced labor scheme resulted in at least $50 million in donations since 2014, which Taylor and Brannon said would be spent on supporting victims of human trafficking, all while they are now accused of committing that crime.
Taylor was arrested in North Carolina while Brennan was arrested in Tampa, Florida. The fact that they were in different states shows that they were trying to avoid law enforcement and continue their operations as the investigation closed in on them. Both Taylor and Brennan face serious charges that could put them away for decades. They're charged with conspiracy to commit forced labor and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Each charge carries up to 20 years in prison and substantial amount of fines.
A grand jury in Michigan returned a 10-count indictment charging them with conspiracy, forced labor, and money laundering.
The money laundering charges are particularly significant because it shows that they weren't just about exploiting workers. It was about hiding proceeds of their criminal enterprise. They were taking donations meant for religious purposes and using sophisticated financial schemes to fund their own personal lifestyle.
All of this is part of what the FBI is calling a nationwide takedown of their forced labor organization. So they will be out here for a while. We're still trying to learn what the connection is to Durham and why Taylor was here in the first place.
And when convicted of all charges, both defendants could face up to 60 years in prison. That's appropriate and fair for people who spent over a decade enslaving vulnerable people while stealing millions of dollars meant for charitable purposes. America, this case perfectly illustrates how predators use religion to exploit vulnerable people. David Taylor and Michelle Brennan took something sacred, people's faith in God, and twisted it into a weapon for control and abuse. They convinced victims disobeying Taylor was disobeying God, that failing to meet impossible goals would result in divine punishment, and that suffering was part of their spiritual journey. This is exactly how religious predators operate. They use people's deepest beliefs against them. The victims in this case weren't just financially exploited, they were psychologically tortured, physically abused, and in some cases allegedly taken advantage of in the most personal ways, all while Taylor lived in luxury and called himself an apostle piece of. This case also shows the importance of federal law enforcement in taking down these multi-state criminal enterprises. When local authorities might be overwhelmed or intimidated, the FBI has the resources and jurisdiction to conduct the kind of comprehensive investigation needed to bring these criminals to justice. The good news is that both Taylor and Brennan are now behind bars, and their victims can finally start the healing process. But the psychological damage from this kind of abuse can last a lifetime. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
Thank you, Tyson DeLacruz. That was awesome. Yeah, that's a mess. I talked about it yesterday. I did a show about it yesterday. It was really cool. I need to come up with a name for that character. We need to come up with a name. He'll make an appearance from time to time, but he will only make that appearance with the sun behind him. That's the only time he'll make an appearance. When you see that sign, you see the sun behind me. When you see that big sun, that's when he appears. So that's just a little hint. But we need to come up with a name for him because that's going to be part of the show. We gotta have some comedy and some seriousness in the show too. So, and I am going to explode in viewership and subscribers. So the ones that were here early, I will always remember you. I will always remember. I hear bells ringing. Oh no. No. For some reason, I felt like I heard bells ringing like I was back in school. That's weird. Yeah. Maybe it's that time for me to go to bed. That's what's ringing. It's like, Rick, you got to go to bed. You had a great show. You know, it was really nice. You showed Tyson, and that's good. You got 2 more shows. If you want to show, you can show them. Should I show them? Yeah, let's do it. Listen to your inner self. Tyson, we already featured you. Tonight, we're not going to close out with you. So we might close out if I find a short, and then I'll put that on, and we'll watch that to close out. But I do want to see these 2 because these are pretty important. So let's take a look. We were supposed to watch this instead of Caroline, but it's okay.
So as the clock ticking on Alligator Alcatraz, the micro detention center could be empty in a matter of days after a judge's ruling to wind down operations at the facility. Dana Marie McNichol is live in Miami. She has details on this. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Dana. That's right. Alligator Alcatraz is rapidly emptying out. The number of detainees
Chloe, what's up?
in just 1 week.
How you doing, Chloe?
The Office of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis confirms that right now there are 180 migrants still inside the facility compared to just 400 last week. The state expects the population will continue to dwindle after last week's federal court ruling that barred any new detainees from arriving at Alligator Alcatraz. Federal Judge Kathleen Williams, an Obama appointee, sided with environmental activists who argue that the detention center was built in violation of federal environmental laws. Florida's Attorney General quickly filed an appeal, but late last night, Judge Williams denied a request by the Trump administration and Florida to keep the detention center open while they
This is my second
appeal.
one of the
Governor
night.
Ron DeSantis says deportation
We had a
of
great
the
show
detainees
here.
fall under DHS authority, not the states.
DHS determines who goes into those facilities and who goes out of those facilities, although we'd be willing to do it, but we are not the ones actually removing them from those facilities and sending them back to their home country.
DHS releasing a statement to us this morning, reading in part, DHS is complying with the order and moving detainees to other facilities. We will continue to fight tooth and nail to remove the worst of the worst from American streets. This activist judge does not care about the invasion of our country. And despite legal setbacks, the state is planning on opening a second detention center at an old correctional facility. Dana, they are planning to call it Deportation Depot.
Okay, thank you so much, Dana Marie McNichol, with that news. And over to you, Bill.
And Dana, nobody better to talk about all this with than White House reporters are Tom Homan, who's kind enough to join us live from the White House this morning. Tom, good to see you.
Hey, Bill, thanks for having me.
So fill us in. What's the latest with Alligator Alcatraz, and how many more of these facilities with these sort of tongue-in-cheek names are being planned?
Well, first of all, Alligator Alcatraz, I got a lot of questions about that. So I actually made a trip down there. I spent the entire day down there. So I don't think this judge went down there and toured the facility, because I think the decision's bad. I mean, I walked through the detention part where the aliens are housed, clean, well kept. And I went to the medical facility and talked to the medical staff and seen the great medical program they had there. It had no serious medical issues, but if there was, they actually had a helicopter there to take them to the nearest trauma center. But they had a great medical facility there that I went through and talked to the physicians and the nurses. I went to the cafeteria and looked at the food they're feeding these people. And as far as environmental concerns, I mean, I was briefed that all the waste, all the non-potable water, all of that is taken off the facility every day. And as far as the facility itself, it's sitting on existing concrete that was already there in the airport. So I don't understand the judge's ruling. I think it's a radical decision. I think it's really about anti-immigration enforcement rather than the conditions of the facility. I was there. Look, it's a transition facility. It's not a long-term facility. Now, because of that, I truly believe we need more brick and mortar. We have the money now to do it. We need to build an infrastructure that's going to last. We need more brick and mortar facilities for longer-term detention. But these transitional facilities, I thank God the governors are stepping up. I'm proud of the governor stepping up and helping ICE to detain people, remove people, because this illegal immigration last 4 years, this historical immigration has affected the states too. So I'm happy that the governors are stepping up. As far as the names, I just don't want these names to detract from the hard work ICE is doing. ICE agents, they're doing a difficult, dangerous job, a serious job. They're doing it with integrity and dignity and honor. I just don't want the names to detract from the serious work they're doing.
And I want to ask you about Kilmar Abrego Garcia. He's back in the headlines this week after he was released from custody in Tennessee. Obviously, things have gotten so muddy with so many different lawsuits and so many different court rulings. He's apparently planning to apply for asylum here in the U.S. now, saying he fears being deported to Uganda. Tom, is there any world that exists where this doesn't end with him being deported from the U.S.?
Look, Bill, the building behind me sits the greatest president of my lifetime, Donald Trump. He promised we'll make this country safe again. Kilmar Abrego will be deported. Him and his attorneys are putting off the inevitable. But if the judge rules on the statute, if the judge rules on the law, he's going to go home, because now he wants to claim asylum, which means he's escaping fear and persecution from your home government because of race, religion, and political affiliation. He's not going to his home government, right? We know that. So he's going to have to prove that he has some sort of political asylum in like Uganda or Costa Rica or any other country, which he simply can't. He has no case. And plus, this is beyond a year where he can claim asylum anyways. So if the court rules on the basis of federal law, he's going home. And I got my teeth into this. I'm not letting go. He is going to be deported. He's a danger to the community. He's a terrible person. He doesn't deserve to walk the streets of this great nation. He's a gang member, terrorist, wife beater, pedophile, human trafficker, alien smuggler. He needs to go home.
And DHS just announced that since operations began in LA in June, ICE and Border Patrol have arrested about 5,000 illegal aliens in the LA area. And they put out a list of some of the worst that they picked up there in the sanctuary city of LA. Take a look at this list here, Tom. Some really bad apples with some pretty horrible convictions. We're talking multiple murderers, multiple pedophiles, multiple rapists. And Karen Bass has repeatedly demanded that you end these ICE operations out there. And now California Governor Gavin Newsom is sounding off, saying ICE is the biggest police force in the world, private police force. And he says you guys are going to be going to voting booths. Take a listen to this. We'll get your thoughts on the other side.
You have the largest private police force in the world. When they're done with this, all that funding and that big, beautiful portrayal allows more resources for this private police force that increasingly is showing a tendency not to swear an oath to the Constitution, but to the President of the United States. And he'll be sending them to voting booths and polling places all across this country.
Tom, final word to you. Want to respond to Governor Newsom and Mayor Bass?
It's disgusting. He's an embarrassment to the position he holds. If he had an ounce of integrity, if Karen Bass has an ounce of integrity, they would be thanking President Trump for making California safe again. You just listed all the bad people we've taken off the streets. We're going to be there today. We're going to be there tomorrow. We're not going anywhere. President Trump made a promise to American people that we're going to make this country safe again. And that includes LA. That includes California. We are, I looked at the numbers this morning, Bill. ICE has made just, under 200,000 arrests. There's about 350,000 deportations together with Border Patrol and ICE. This is unprecedented considering the first 4 months of this fiscal year was under Joe Biden, where he wasn't doing anything. Governor Newsom just sit back and watch us make his state safe again because they've done nothing. We'll do it for them.
All right. Tom Homan, live at the White House this morning. Tom, thanks for your time. Always good to see you.
Good to see you, Bill.
Wow, this is interesting.
Hey, everyone. I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts,
we're living,
Paris
like I
Faulkner
said, a
and
very
Katie
interesting time. There's so many illegals here. It's just, it's hard to know who's who at this point, It's just crazy. Let's go to more crazy news, and then we'll say goodnight after this, because I want to see this before I go to sleep. Okay, here we go.
Cover half of the editorial staff will walk out. I guarantee it. I will walk out the mother effing door and half my staff will follow me. If I have to work bagging groceries at Trader Joe's, I'll do it. It sickens me. That is actually very honorable work, you. But all of this may be a moot point, as Page 6 is reporting. The First Lady laughed at the idea. A source familiar with the First Lady's thinking told the outlet, quote, "She doesn't have time to be sitting in a photo shoot. Her priorities as First Lady are far more important. These people don't deserve her anyway." Woohoo, snap. And it is true. The First Lady has a very busy schedule. Here's a short list. She's working to support children in foster care, fighting the opioid epidemic, and working to protect kids from the harms of social media, among many other things. Emily Campagno, how is this going to play out?
I love this because she is showing the grace that could have epitomized the cover of Vanity Fair, but now never will. She is far too busy investing in and doing more important things that actually serve the American public to even bother with something so vapid as a magazine that ignores one half of the Oval Office. And I put that this is representative, in my opinion, of the really myopic view of and the luxury viewpoint that these young liberals have, which is a refusal to even learn about something. That is their First Lady. And they should say, let me make an effort to understand. Let me find a way to respect, if it's so hard, a platform that she's working for. What's the common ground? And instead, the abject refusal to even entertain or acknowledge, and then to threaten with bagging groceries at Trader Joe's as if that is anything less honorable than writing for a living, to me just shows, again, the luxury, the pampering, and the snowflakeness of those kids at Vanity Fair. And I wish them all nothing but unemployment.
Entitled dum-dums, and they may be unemployed here very soon because they have a new global editor who is the one who has floated the idea of having our gorgeous First Lady on the cover of a magazine. See how it's spelled there, Dr. Siegel? What are your thoughts?
A lot of ironies here. I imagine this. The woman is bagging groceries at Trader Joe's. She looks up
and there's Vanity Fair with Melania Trump on the cover. Or how about this idea that Melania Trump going after social media ills is a lot like this, isn't it? That the politicization of all media right now, in this case, left-wing media, where they have to distinguish based on politics all the time. To Emily's point, there's a certain pageantry to being first lady. There's glamour to it. And she carries herself so well. And she's not picking fights. And she's not politicizing the office. Look, I'm all for the fact that Michelle Obama got a lot of attention and got on a lot of covers, including this. But there's no reason to go out after Melania Trump. For what reason? Carries herself with grace.
Yeah. And I feel like this time around, the second time around in the White House for her has been different. What are your thoughts? Evolved, and she's doing the work that she wants to do.
Yeah, absolutely, she has. She's been an enormous, amazing voice for the children. She's writing to Putin in Russia, trying to save the children that are involved in this massive conflict. That was the major headlines coming out. She really doesn't have time to pose for magazine articles and photos. And what got me also, the vibe shift that has occurred across the country, it's not exactly a profile in courage to now invite her onto the front of the magazine, if that's even what their intention was. And I agree with the Trader Joe's thing. That really stood out to me. That caught me in the cross so much. And also, they may have better style than you at Vanity Fair. The folks at Trader Joe's, fashion icons.
I'd much rather hang out with people working at Trader Joe's. Arthel.
So I first need Trader Joe's to bring back the smaller canvas bag. You know what I'm saying, right? I need those back immediately. I'm waiting for them to come back. And listen, of course, Melania Trump, first and stylish enough to grace any magazine cover. By the way, Dr. Siegel, you mentioned, I'll give you this, that Michelle Obama, Jill Biden, not on the cover of Vanity Fair, both on Vogue.
Okay.
Nancy Reagan on the cover of Vanity Fair. Hillary Clinton on the cover of Vanity Fair, Jackie Kennedy Onassis, 2 posthumous covers. Melania Trump, as we know, was on the cover of the Vanity Fair Mexico edition of 2019, not on the U.S. edition, not sure why. But what's the big deal? She's beautiful. Put her on the cover. Why not?
We used to adore our first ladies. First ladies humanize the president. And, they've always been objects of our fascination.
Sure.
But now everything is so politicized.
I just want to make this breaking news announcement. I have been commissioned to pose for the cover of Vanity Fair. Don't hate.
Woo!
Well deserved.
Wait, I'm going to get every international edition.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Comporto. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered.
They're doing her dirty, These Democrats, they're within the system. They're all over. They're like the plague. They're inside, and they're just spreading. And their midichlorians are very tainted and very negative. Like, how could people we go through the same learning phase. We go through, like, emotions. We go through so much phases, and how could people get to a point that they have so much hate that they go and they kill and kill at will, and then cowardly kills themselves. It's just, I still have my head around that story in Minnesota. It's just, we need more information on it. I'll stay tabs on it because that one's still fresh, and I would like to know more. Like this kid has been on the social media, so he does have like residue within the net that they could bring up. Like, they could bring up if you're going to use AI, if you're talking about AI and want to be the future of AI and all this talk about AI, well, bitch, let's put the AI to the test. Like, this is a great way. Put up this individual in through the net and bring them all up into a page, and then you see everywhere that he's been and what he has done and correlate it to what's going on. And it'll show all the stuff he's been watching on the computer. It'll show everything. like at what time he saw it. Like it was just specify everything. Like you don't understand. Computers are kind of like they're like diaries, and you think you delete things and it goes away and it doesn't. They're like diaries. So yeah. With that said, I had a great show. It was really nice. It was really cool. Thank you, Tyson, again for coming through. Truly appreciate it. Everyone who came in through the chat room tonight, thank you so much. We're gonna try to make this a weekly thing with Tyson on Thursdays, so that way we're gonna build this channel up. He's gonna help me create views and create more subscribers and really break down a lot of this things that are going on. Like I like when me and Tyson interact because like two brains, works great, and the fact that we're like on the same page and we could like come in with our opinions and our ways and seeing things in different in ways and just collaborating. It's a very good thing for both of us, and I'm glad to do it with him. It's going to be a good journey every Thursday. We're going to keep it sharp to I think the 7:30. I'll talk to Tyson to see if he wants to make it like 7 or 7:30. If he wants to keep it at 7:30, I mean, it'll be up to him. He came on for almost 2 hours, so that's awesome. And the reason why he had to get off is because he has to take his dog outside. It's time to take the baby outside to use the restroom. He has to use the restroom and has to pee and has to run around and enjoy running around because the sun is going down. And it's like there's more shadows, so it's not as hot. But it's the desert out there where he lives, and it's been hot, so that's why he had to go. But it's good, at least he has like a companion to keep him on his toes and to be there and support. They're great support dogs. And for me, I use cats. I have cats. Tyson's with the dogs. I'm with the cats. We're team cats over here. And my cats are my world, and they're awesome. They're really good, and they're awesome for sure. But with that said, I'm out of here. I'm tired. It's almost 11. It was a great show. Thank you again for watching. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Maybe an early show. Maybe an early show. Maybe. All right, we'll see. Have a good night, everyone. Have a good morning, good afternoon, and a good night. And I'll catch you on the flip side. And we'll do this all over again tomorrow. And we'll have a great time. Okay. So enjoy the night. Watch yesterday's show. Yesterday's show was, I don't know. I have to come up with a name. If you could put a name, you can put a name in the comments. What would you call my disguise? I mean, it was horrible. It was just a thing of quickness because I didn't want to show myself with all this bad energy going on and people dying and little younglings dying. And to come to find out the 8-year-old was the boy, a little 8-year-old boy. I think the 10-year-old, is it a girl? Is that the girl that got shot in the brain, like shot in the head? I believe. We'll find out more. But that's so sad, and I hope they do a thorough investigation. There's a lot of evidence in that. But have you noticed a lot of weird things has been happening before I leave? I'm going into my psychic world. Have you noticed when I had told you guys about the sun? and how the sun was releasing plasma into the world. And you know, us humans, we react because we have over 70% of water within us, and these waves, these plasma waves, that has been bombarding our planet. I feel like a lot of weak individuals can't handle the pressure. And I feel this pain in my ear, my left ear, like a real tough like pain in the left ear. It's just we're living in unique times. You know, felt something pulling me like in my ear. It's just crazy. But there's just a lot more to it, you know, because all the stories that are coming out, they're all coming out like really fast every day. There's always something, and it's a pattern. And I feel like they're like, fuck it, just do it all. Just do all different types of shit. So please be careful if you go to church. Be careful with the copycats because they will be out there. There's still a lot of hate, a lot of hatred in people's hearts, and they are taking note of what's going on and thinking that they could do better, which is ridiculously stupid. But there are people out there that hate children, like this dude, like this it did. It's just really sad times, you know. And then Baby Emmanuel was another one. That's a wild one. It's like the church shooting has taken over the media for now. And it's like the news is trying to fight like what story will be more powerful with the closing of Alcatraz. Will that close? Will that be another court stepping in and lifting all those crazy sanctions? And yeah, it's wild times to be alive to witness all this, especially like the deportation of the illegal migrants. It's something to watch, but there's a lot more that needs to go. So it's for right now, it's gonna feel like an never ending battle, and it is gonna feel like that because there's so many here, and we got to move them along. So with that said, I'm gonna move myself along. I'm tired. Have a good night and stay peaceful. Peace.